Hello. How's it going? Hello, Crazy. Hello, Herp Derp. My day's going well. How was your day? It's Friday. That's a lot of days. I hope it's going well. Well, that's good. I get every other Friday off, and this was my off Friday, and it's like I've been doing it now for like what, a year and a few months of that, and like I'm still not used to it. I get confused what day of the week it is. Hello as well, Red Dead, and other people. She's exceedingly happy. I like to start the stream with the stupid face, mainly because I don't like choosing my own pictures for streams recordings, and if I keep that face on there for a while, sometimes it lets me do that as the preview. So, clickbait. Anyway, since there's names I don't recognize, there is spoilers for future content that'll be on YouTube later. So if you don't like spoilers, heads up. Also, if there are any questions or things you want to see from previous videos or questions about SFM and how it works or process, that's the point of the stream. So ask questions, and I will answer them. I just work on stuff in the meantime because I mostly do it at the time. So I actually did not poke at this last couple days because I was working on the stream compilation thing, and actually I put out the live stream compilation this morning, and I'm already almost done with the next one. Like, I had a period of like 4 months, I think, that I was actually recording all the funny timestamps on stuff, and so I'm able to like go through a whole bunch of months really quick. So I'm actually already almost done with one, and that was like 10 minutes long. There was a lot of really good stuff in, what was that, August and September of 2017. So anyway. I think it was okay, yeah, I was ready to move this from keyframe to animated. So how that made me realize you streamed the tutorial one that I didn't see for some reason back in August. Yeah, well, I've been streaming for 5 years, I think. I'm not big on advertising it on YouTube because of the spoiler bit. I only stream on YouTube if I don't push anything that I'm working on, because some people like to be surprised, and so I don't want to take that away from people because they clicked it and oops. So, because there's a lot of jokes that are funny because of timing, and if you're watching it out of time, it could ruin some of the jokes. So, that's why I said that. Did I ever think to do a collab with 3SM or Storm X? I know both of them, but no. I've done a lot of collab stuff over time, and that is, I feel that that's actually some of the reasons. Well, it's probably one of the main reasons why I haven't put as much stuff on my own. Not that I don't enjoy it; it is fun, but like with Anthology, anytime I had time to put into small stuff, I tended to just think to put it into Anthology, but Anthology's due date was way out, so then I just didn't make anything small until like the last minute for Anthology. So it's nice now where I can feel like I can make small stuff because Anthology's done. So I don't have that lingering over me of make stuff for them. So, and so because of that, I don't want to get too caught up in too many other projects that are collaborative, because then I feel like I'm obligated when somebody else is involved to get stuff done faster, and then I just don't touch my own stuff. So right now I'm at a point where I'm not really working on anything else for anybody, and it's nice because I can just kind of like actually get this one done. It's only been in the works since November 9th of 2018. Hello, Phil and Ronnie. Yeah, I think PSFM, I think I got an email that he's put on a new one today. I haven't looked at it yet, but
it's in.
But if you haven't been here, I'm working on another sci-fi one. It's very close to done. But I added like another 15 seconds to it last week. It's easy stuff, but I need more context. That's actually what we're working on here. So, but it's easy. All the lip sync's already done. The keyframing's done. It's just about like making her live alive and then ride an elevator really slow because it's funny. I still got to work on this transition.
Now fire the rocket.
So, I don't like how she goes from like super happy to angry, so I need to balance that a little bit. But right now the idea is to do this, and this video is also another 70 seconds long. There's a second video file that this one became too big, so I had to separate it. So it's like a 2.5 minute thing, I think.
It's in.
Hello, Jurassic. Hello, Dolphin. You'd be surprised if there's Dolphin.
It's in. Let's.
Start doing music stuff and freaking animation. Well, Phyrexis kind of did that too. He started posting a lot of music stuff, but music is a lot quicker to put out for one. So if you just need a creative outlet, it works. But also, Phyrexis got super dug in. He was a very traditional family with a very heavy focus on schoolwork, and he was still in high school. So he, and then I'm pretty sure he went on to college. So he was like, had to basically focus on that super hard for a while, and that's why he's kind of disappeared. So I'm hoping he does it well. I haven't talked to him forever. But no, really, if whatever people want to do to be creative and be their outlet, to me, that's fine. Somebody posted just a little bit ago about duo cartoonists on one video, maybe it was you, I don't know, but about like don't remove your stuff like they did, and I'm like, no, I never plan to like delete stuff from my channel. Some people will do that because they want to move on to certain other things, and in reality, having pony stuff on there can push some certain people away and make it difficult to grow a channel towards beyond a certain size. So if you want to, you might have to pull some of that off to help allow it to open up a little bit more. But I don't plan to ever expand to whatever, so I just let it go however. No, I have no idea. Actually, other than the name, that's all I know from them. I don't really like focus too much or watch too much on some of the other YouTubers. I subscribe to quite a few pony SFMer people, but I really, when I go through there, I just watch like science videos. That's all I do on YouTube. Science and coffee videos. I've been really big into coffee. Jeff Hoffman, I've been like, or is it James Hoffman? That's it. I've been like addicted to all his videos for a while.
It's in.
So I think we're at the point where it's going to be smoothing out some of this animation. Oh, wait.
It's in.
No, I can do a little bit of her tail here. Oh, wait, her tail is a separate model, isn't it? Nope, that is included. It's her hair, top hair that's not. So, otherwise I'm going to forget. Oh, why is it? No. I'm just going to put the tail down at this part because I have... So Woodlord did that. Oh.
Let's go launch the Let's go.
I can't remember what duo cartoonists were they the one that did like they didn't do Lullaby for a Princess. They did the Luna like dream one, right? No, I'm just making whatever sounds fun. Dinos, hello as well. I just any of the content I do is just is really spur of the moment stuff that just sounds fun. If it doesn't sound fun, I'm not going to do it. So there's a lot of other fun stuff that would be trendy or funny or follow memes, but if it doesn't interest me, then nah. So I've had people toss ideas my way a lot, and it's just like I kind of already have a bunch of ideas for stuff, and for really short stuff, it just is while I'm working on something, if there's just something that makes me laugh enough, I'll usually remember it and try to make something smaller out of it too. Moonrises. Okay, yeah. Got kicked from YouTube as far as I know. Might have been. I don't know if I'd get kicked from... I mean, you have to get so many strikes. I don't think I can get kicked. At least I can't think of any reason why they would. But I don't know. I'm not a YouTube scientist. Is that a thing? Probably not. Yeah, well, I thought that they went and started doing more professional work too, and then you start getting into difficulty in areas of if you're doing professional work, then do they own some of your other stuff if you're using their same equipment or stuff on the side? It really depends on contract. But that's fine. Even if they've disappeared, there's plenty of people that make really good content as well. I don't like when people focus on like the people that have been around for a while or the people that make the highest quality content, because those people got there by taking the baby steps along the way and the support that they were given by the community to get to that point. So a lot of the people that are working their way up need the support too, because one of them might be a duo later, and they need people's support to get there. And I don't want to see them get shoved under the rug because people want to focus on the people that are already at the top of the mountain.
Let's go launch the rocket.
What's that?
It's in.
Has it been there the whole time and I just didn't know it? Yeah, apparently it is. Oh, it's these two. There we go. Now it's gone. Okay, that was weird. It's like she had a tail growing out of the back of her head. Now I can see a problem. The bigger you get, the more visible you are. So sometimes it's better to stay smaller and to stay quiet. I prefer, like, you can go and put advertisements out on YouTube and places and try to pull in as many people as you want, but all you're doing is you're yelling at Hasbro saying, hey, look over here. And at least I'm doing 3D, which I have a little bit of a break between trying to copy a style because it's a different medium. But the show has a look, and if you copy it too much and you get too big, they want to be buttholes. Technically, to maintain a copyright, they have to defend it. So if something gets on their radar, they basically have to do something about it to a degree, and there's definitely some flexibility. But if something is brought to their attention and they don't do something about it, then they're not defending their copyright of something, and they can lose the copyright. So the law is weird and finicky. see if it's good all the way after watching it all the way through. Yeah, but even if it's not good, there's sometimes where you can look at a person's channel and you can see that maybe it's not that good, but they've only been doing it for 2 weeks. And so if you kind of look at it like, for 2 weeks, it's actually pretty good. If they've been doing it for a while, but you can see that they're really, really trying, that motivation, that a little comment of like, you're doing good, keep it up, constructive criticism, following like the Stewie method of be positive, then give some constructive criticism, then be positive again, really goes a long ways for helping people to get that a push forward for making themselves better and improve. There are definitely some people that like to just kind of sit in their little area that they've made and not really get better and just keep working off what they have doing, and that's fine. But if you really see somebody that's trying to get better and really trying to improve, the words great job are powerful. Yeah, I love seeing progress. The climb up the mountain is way more fun than getting there. That's some of the motivation, like for the last couple of years, was dwindling for me on SFM, just because I felt like there wasn't much more growth that I could get in it, and I kept trying to strive to like dig little things out, but every little extra thing I was trying to grab onto was drastically increasing the amount of time things would take, to the point of I would lose motivation. So it was a slippery slope. That's the Rathalos thing has helped tremendously for getting my motivation back, because it's something quick, different, and easy. And I just kind of changed up some of the things I've been doing, and I think the quarantining at home has also been a good motivator, because I just get bored with everything. So but yeah, it's way more fun learning and growing. Bernie Dance Party. So after this years, he's doing pony stuff and always improving. Even posted to 2017, so nice new sketches. Well, you got to make sure like that they're not, just because they're not posting something doesn't mean that they're not doing something. I had that. I almost have every video that I put on the last 2 years has had at least a couple people that has said, "I thought you were dead." And I've never really stopped working on stuff. I slowed down a little bit, but I've been streaming 7 hours a week for 5 years. It's still been stuff that's been in progress. It doesn't mean that they aren't too, or that their motivation didn't drop and they just got to find it again. I found mine a little bit. That's why I've been posting more stuff lately. And when this one's done, I'll have another one. And this one will be a nice long one. I'm looking forward to this one being done. It's like I said, this is November 9th. That's the name of the file. That's 2018. So it's almost 2 years that I started this. It's just been on and off. I've made 2 or 3 other videos in the meantime, other collaborative projects.
It's in!
So I'm looking forward to this one kind of being capped off, so I can start going back to some short ones. I want to focus on like 10 to 20 second videos for a little bit, just to show people I'm not dead, so that then I can get back to maybe some longer ones, and then disappear again as I'm working on them. I don't know.
It's in! Let's go launch the rocket!
Is her eye still locked? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright, I think I can blend this now. Hello, McMahon. Jeez, a lot of people I haven't seen. I mean, I was expecting that because of the compilation, but still, it's cool. So welcome. If there's any questions anybody has about SFM or videos I've done or life, I don't care. This is meant to be a stream to help people out, so just if there's no questions, I make Twilight do some like weird things. Well, not just Twilight, I guess, but and get some progress done on videos.
It's in!
Ooh, that's too slow.
It's in! It's in!
Just be quicker at
It's
the
in!
beginning.
It's in! It's in!
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, poor Twi. Well, it's okay. She's crazy, especially in this. she's very angry at Spike. But she did murder a guy, so that's, I guess. And she made Spike break his legs. I keep forgetting I have to add what do we call that? Sandals on a countertop sound. Somebody had mentioned that, like when with the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, when they have their legs like go really quick and they go, and that was actually a really good representation of that sound of sandals on a countertop. Really could be a major fluke moment. Is another short or some dialogue from a movie series? No, well, yeah, I guess not the Roadrunner sound, because it's both. It has to be like a slappy sound. But I had to figure out what to do with that, or if I even want to do it. No, it's not from a movie. It's the same audio that I've used for all this other sci-fi stuff. It's Dr. Spara from Borderlands pre-sequel, and she has this whole mission sequence with a whole bunch of audio, and all of it's gold. All of it's super good. But for this, I'm not using any like sequential piece of audio from her. I'm kind of just picking and grabbing and choosing, and I'm making my own thing from it. This will be the last sci-fi though, because I'm running out of audio. I've done the 4 and I've used all the really, really good ones, and it's hard to use any more. And so I just decided to make one big one to kind of cap off sci-fi stuff. So this will be the last sci-fi thing, but it is like 2-something minutes long, so it's a lot longer. But the whole idea was to make it about a 30-second video. That was only because I liked this bit of audio from her.
Headshot surgery.
And there's something about headshot surgery that was just funny. And because I wanted to use that audio clip, and then it's turned into like a 2.5-minute monster where a lot of people die. But I could, if people don't mind spoilers, I don't want to, because for a lot of the other streams lately, it's been the same people that pop up, so I don't mind playing stuff over. But as long as people don't mind spoilers, I can play what I have right now. I'll play a little smaller because I don't want people screen capping and uploading. Though I do have some previews of these on YouTube unlisted, so that if somebody does, it'll probably detect it. But yeah, if people don't mind, I can play this through. Otherwise, I'm gonna work on progressing it towards completion.
It's in.
Oh, that's not timed right. Really, these reviews you show any tiny bits of this before. Previous sci-fi. Oh no, I did that update video that I made, my channel update that I put out like a month ago or something like that, a little over a month ago. That one had, just kind of twist on drugs here. That one actually had a segment of this, though I changed it a little bit. I picked that segment because that segment's been done for months and months, probably about a year actually. Oh, yeah, it is your normal disappear time. Thanks, Jurassic. See you later. No, but I haven't heard any complaints. So, yeah, so if you don't want any spoilers, blah, blah, blah. A note on coloration of shots down here. Green is done, where I'm basically saying I don't really need to do anything more in there. I might poke at it a little bit, but it's done. Orange means that it's animated, but not, orange means it's animated, but I still have to do some tweaks to it. It might be like cleaning up hair, little things, but it's for the most part it's animated. And then red it's usually keyframed, not really smoothed yet. If it is animated, it's usually I still have to do some pretty major changes to it. So anything that's colored, and if it's blue, then it's not even touched at all. So just a heads up on the colors when it gets to those. All right.
idea
It won't be that bright and final. It'll look like that.
for a rocket navigation system, but I need your help. Rocket science! Woo! Hey, you want to be a rocket scientist? Headshot surgery! Oh! Squishy! Yeah! Now grab the brain! You got a brain! Woo! Now put the brain on this rocket! It's in! Let's go launch the rocket! Now fire the rocket! Hypothesis? This will be frickin' sick! Science!
So that's the first half. Yes, what the heck happened is what I was going for. So thank you for the compliment. SFM has a certain RAM limit, so I had at this point I wasn't really going back to a lot of that scene builds, so I had to split it because it was just getting too big. And I couldn't figure out how to end it, so we just went like out of like 3 left turns. I love the glasses. Yeah, I had to make them like flop on her face. Okay, so this shot, the blue, and this shot are establishing shots. They're going to show a larger back shot, and I don't have that. It's of the Canterlot High School. You'll get that in a minute. So when it goes to a black screen, you know what's going on there. This is going to be a stock video I'm going to put in, and this is not. This is funny, but it's not done yet. So yeah.
I've had to jump through so many hoops tonight just to get my hands on this crown, and it really should have been mine all along. What exactly do you think you're going to do to stop me? I have magic, and you have...
Blam!
That's ta-da. It's so stupid. It was unexpected. That's what I was going for. I just need to find some stock image of this. It's probably gonna not be loud. It's probably gonna go for a quiet explosion instead. I have the map for those. I just need to fill stuff in it, and it's very resource intensive, so that's why I don't have it loaded yet. And then I need to know what to do with Twilight here. I'm thinking about leaving it like this, just for fun, but I don't know. Progress, I guess. I've had a lot of people say leave Twilight at the end like that, and I'm considering it just because it is kind of funny. Okay, good. Laughs are good, especially since, like I said, seeing it out of time might be worse. I was hoping some of the timing works. I feel like it kind of did. So I like comedy through misdirection, and that's what that does. But the idea here is, in the whole Borderlands thing, she's constantly having you go to get brains. Because she's not really a scientist. She's like kind of stupid, but wants to do science cool stuff. And so she has you get brains to shove them in a rocket. And so since there's a lot of audio with that, I decided to kind of go that route. But I didn't know of a non-murderous way to get a brain, so I thought a giant mallet was the way to do it.
That's murder.
It's not murder.
It's really murder.
It's there's a chamber inside, and once it comes down, the murder's inside. He's fine. He doesn't have a brain now, but he's fine. He's in the mallet.
He didn't need that brain.
It's not murder, it's science. Yeah, there's a difference.
Fair. No! Yeah, I don't... This is not okay. Have pizza.
Is it too hot?
No. It's ice cold.
I heard you microwave it. For like 4 seconds that you put it in. Yes, this is Mike.
Yes. Hello. I forgot hello. Hello.
There's a rule that when he comes home he has to say hello, and there's so many days that he just has something on his mind that has such precedence that he won't say hello, and then I always, while he's talking, I say hello, and then he stops and smiles and is like, oh. And then other days he'll say hello and then stare at me like, you heard that right.
I need to make sure, because if I say anything else, I'll be in trouble.
It's a good thing it's not the same with like good night. I'm gonna be like in the middle of sleeping or knock on my door and be like, I didn't say good night.
It's gonna happen.
No. I will hit you with everything that's I don't have anything close. I'll bring my alarm clock and you can have that.
I'll just walk into your room while you're sleeping and lean over your bed and be like, I forgot to say goodnight. Just whispered in your ear. It's the best.
And that compilation, I should turn up the volume a little bit more, but I like the one where it has the pony with like the big eye because it's the weird angle, and he just goes, "Hi, kids." But then I did the CC for it, and so I put the subtitles at the bottom of it, and I almost didn't want to put what it actually says because I was afraid that YouTube, with their whether indicating something is for kids or not, was going to detect that I put in the CC "Hi, kids," and that they would have a problem with that. But I also was like, I don't see them flagging videos randomly for that, so people can say it ironically. I said before, I put out the compilation this morning. Mm-hmm. I am almost done with another one. And
are you enjoying those?
I have to show you. You wouldn't be able to hear it, but
I can kind of hear them.
I have to show one of them because it is probably the funnest thing we ever did, which was with Kyle and Aku. Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh my
God.
God.
Remind me.
It was so funny. I'm still working at editing it. But it ended up being, it's probably going to be close to 9 or 10 minutes. Just gotta give it a minute it's on the hard drive that needs to spin up. I already have a title for this video. Normally I kind of come up with it towards the end, but I was probably going to call it Rocket Surgery. Because there's an actual voice line she has that she says like rocket surgery, yeah. And so most of the files I've been keeping this under have been under rocket surgery, because that's just I think that's a turn of phrase, right? This isn't rocket surgery. I've heard that.
I've never heard it, but I like it because I've heard it's not rocket science and it's not brain surgery. So
yeah.
The idea of rocket surgery is amazing.
I know, that's why I've heard that before, because it's like making it exceedingly complicated or something. But yeah, a lot of the other videos, like Remembrance, I didn't come up with the name for that. That was actually on stream. We had sat down. So this is actually this is me planning out like what to do with the credits at the end, but these are actually the names that we came up with on stream for it. All my save files are called Awaken because that's what I originally called it, but I also felt that gave away the premise at the end, and I didn't want to have it be that, so we kind of went away with that, but we kind of started narrowing it down. So these are all the ones we had. The parentheses are just variations of the same thing. I like Magic of Friendship, fuck yeah. But these are the ones we narrowed it down to, and in the end I ended up picking Remembrance, and I'm glad I did because it actually works super, super well.
That No Darkness one is a bit... I'm glad you didn't pick No Darkness.
Well, no, I was taking any ideas that somebody threw out that at least were serious. I was putting on there. That's why that was tossed down this.
I think kind of like Echoes.
I liked it too, but it didn't. It felt like the name itself didn't encompass much. I love single word, or I don't like titles that go much more than 3 words unless they're ironically long. Because if you're putting a sentence in the title, it just doesn't make any sense. So I loved Remembrance because it was quick, simple, recognizable, and just fit both the beginning, middle, and end. So it was the absolute perfect title.
I'm also happy you didn't pick I'll Be There, because that just makes me think of that song, I'll Be There.
Yeah, but again, it was just one of the ones that was brought down to it. And I remember sitting in my room, this is 2 apartments ago, sitting on the bed in the day that I was going to be putting it out, and that was when I was locking it down, and I was like, is this the name I want to go with? Because I was pretty sure it was going to... I didn't even have a name to BronyCon yet. I don't think I had I didn't have a name for it yet then. And so it was the day I was going to put it out, and I was like, is this what I want to name it? Because I didn't think it was that important of a video, but then after the convention, I realized it was. And so it was like a serious moment I was having with myself of like, is this the one? And I got it. Went up with that. So
it was actually the first convention I ever met you at, and I just remember you chatting with my sister up about the video. You had your laptop open, you were showing it to her while you were talking about it, and this is the first time I ever met him, and you can just imagine me dressed as Big Macintosh, drinking a beer and just kind of watching them talk. And that was pretty much my entire presence.
Was that when we were at the pub?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being there. So I have this broken up into a couple pieces because I like repeating jokes in the stream bits. I'm taking like the same, like the funny parts for the Yaku thing are like 4 minutes long after condensing down, and so I'm breaking it up. So I have to kind of jump around to find it, but. Here it's
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Oh, that was the other thing.
Do you just have a fucking model for Aku?
Oh, there.
What the hell? Where did you fucking just pull that from? How did you just pull that out of your ass? Why do you have a model of Aku?
Let's see here.
Got some good stuff right there.
I don't know if you remember some of these. Oh, there's the other ones.
And that said,
In fact, we both said "wayo" at the same time.
You're really good.
Why do you fucking have this?
Help me! Help me!
Does he have a
Oh,
He is on the stuff. Oh dear.
Oh!
foolish! Foolish!
So you're just going month to month and making these?
These I can do quick because on if you go into my Livestream folder for this time period, I was actually keeping track in a text document, the funny parts. And so if I opened it up and it said nothing to note, I would just, there's nothing that was really funny or important in there. But every now and then I would pop it up with timestamps. And so I can go through there, grab those timestamps, and then skip the rest. So it makes it super, super quick. But I stopped doing that a while ago. And so I'm going to hit a point where I have to slow down on it again. But I did June and July. So I went over these ones for that last compilation. And then for this one, I'm doing this time frame. And I'm doing 2 months at a time because I don't want to go too much over 5 minutes. And this one's going to be 9 minutes, I think, with just 2 months. So, but there will be probably times where I'm going to have to go to 3 or 4 months because I'm not going to have enough.
Oh no, she looks really.
I'm just going to the Aku part, so there'll be more in context later.
Why is Lyra so buff?
Here we go.
Father of Grace, help us all.
Wait, I know how to make this work.
The best part about all this is Kyle in the corner. I'll see if I can shrink this down so you can see. I had to have some parts that weren't actually funny just because of his reaction.
You're gonna make him choke.
Thanks.
Doing da da da.
Oh shit! We're getting into nightmare territory. Don't do it. No. Back it. Back it off. Back it off. What is?
I love this. I just started going, and Kyle lost it.
Argo.
You want some candy?
Kyle lost it.
That was like the first samurai.
No, please. Hi, Kyle. Want to be friends? Come over and give me a big smooch. It's just like, I can't take this.
You gotta
We
leave.
have lost.
No, he's just in the background.
Kyle is losing it.
Alright, I'm sane. I'm sane. I'm over it. I'm over.
I know if you are.
What pudding? Pudding pops. Just like Mama makes them. I just love Kyle. Like, he's like, okay, I'm fine, and then he comes back and immediately loses it again. It was so funny. I have some fun. Like this is, I like this one. She'll get through. She'll pull through. She's doing she's doing pretty good. Pawns can do that. Yep, she can. Pull through.
Royce. Took a blow to the head.
It's so good. Remember this?
Yes, I remember that. That was a special moment
remember.
for me.
Oh.
Everyone loves cranberry.
Cranberry is amazing. Oh yeah.
Chicken.
That's broken up because there's another part where he does it at the beginning, and so I'm broken in two. So yeah, but So yeah, I have to.
Oh no.
This is it kind of ruins it now that you saw the vase, but I love this. Super sauce.
It's wonderful.
It's good times.
We're having way too much fun with that video.
Yeah, so I'm working on that. What I actually want to do, and it really depends on this. Okay, so it's sometime in October of last year. I was originally keeping track of it because I got somebody to originally agree. I was going to pay them to do some of the editing for this, but I was going to supply where the funny parts were. But then I never actually got around to doing enough of that to send that to them. But it's because I also thought that I needed to have heavier editing, and I don't. So I'm just I'm doing simpler editing now. So that's why I was originally doing the funny part listings. But now, once I get into the next set of months, I will not have that easy funny bit anymore. I'll have to legitimately go through the entire stream, and that's arduous. But I do want to try to actually have one of those out a week for a little bit. So I want to have this one done so that it's ready to go next Friday.
You get a lot of views on it?
No.
No.
But I can fully monetize them, which is great.
Yeah.
So, the one I put out this morning has I think 3,000 or 4,000 views.
I mean, some people kill for that, so.
Yeah, but when you have a subscriber count of 210,000, it means
I'm not going to drop your microphone for you with my break.
But if 210,000 people get a notification, but only 3,000 click it.
Yeah.
That's where the thing is. But a lot of those people don't see it because it says click per impression is 8%, which means that 8% of people that see it click it. Well, if that many people got the notification, only that many people saw it. So it just means over the next couple of days, but that's why I try to do it on Fridays for release, because I'm going to have a higher amount of people checking this in the weekend. If people have a huge amount of subscribers, but then they don't check it today or tomorrow, they're just going to get buried and you'll never see it ever. So,
well, just be careful not to post any with me in the background. Otherwise, nobody's going to click it. They're going to be like, what's that?
I don't like to click links during, because I'm, if somebody puts content on there that could be bad, it would mean that I'd have to edit it out later. So I'm very careful about clicking links while I'm streaming. So I can check it afterwards, but no, I can't check during. But yeah, we're working on
horse things. Best line human twite ever said in Equestria Girls: all of my things are horse things. It's great.
I don't know if I know that one.
It's from the episode of Equestria Girls where they all become horses.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. That's probably the only one you care about because it has to be horses.
They become horses, and she's like, all of my things are horse things. And I just love it. It's a great line.
So for those that don't know the process of animating, I did lip syncing because it's hard for me to animate without knowing what the timing is for the lips. So I usually do lip syncing first. But then it's keyframing. So it's mainly about getting the general positioning for everything. And now I'm going through there and like basically connecting those dots or smoothing them out so that they're actually moving A to B, transitioning A to B instead of just that sharp cut. But then from there, I have to start adding some of the secondary animation, because if I just leave it as it is, it's going to look very robotic. So I need to add some of the extra little like dips and dives and twists to make it realistic. But the purpose of pose-to-pose animating is to ensure that at that moment that you have that guaranteed look and pose. So that's the purpose of this. Is I could block the whole thing and put a whole bunch of extra detail into it, but instead I'm just wanting to ensure that at this point she looks like this, and at this point she looks like this, and it just makes my job way, way easier, and it's a lot easier to change timing and stuff off the posing. Are the YouTube rules about child content become more difficult handling your channel? Early on, kinda, because when they initially did it, they just started flagging stuff, and because I have My Little Pony on a lot of stuff, it just started auto flagging a lot of my content as for kids. And for one, Remembrance it was flagged for kids, and so it disabled all comments. And because video marked for kids can have no comments, and I think you can be monetized, but it's limited, and it turns off a lot of stuff. But Remembrance was one that it did, and I had to dispute it, and thankfully I won. Because I basically said in there, this deals with the topic of death. So if you think that was made for kids, then that's your problem. So they took that one off. But a lot of other ones got flagged for it. And I went in there and unflagged them. And there's a general setting you can do that just auto flags everything as not for kids. But it was a little bit frustrating at first. Now, not really. One of the difficult things with uploads now is ask the for kids thing. And then, is it 18 plus or not? And so yes or no. But now it also asks you like 7 different questions about different aspects of the content. And depending on how you answer, could remove monetization. Like it'll say there's 3 different levels of swearing. Is there no swearing? Fine. You don't have to worry about it. You can monetize. Is there light swearing, like damn or hell? They actually put that on there. But that one does include heavy swearing if it's later in the video. If the first thing you say is fuck within in the first 30 seconds or something, or within the first couple seconds, then that falls under the light swearing or the heavy swearing. Or if it's just excessive. So there's a lot of questions you have to read through. Is it have to deal with weapons? Is it politics? Is there's almost everything I have is no. Every now and then I have one that's light swearing. But even with light swearing, it doesn't matter because like you can still monetize it. It's just certain people, like if it has light swearing, they're not going to advertise like a kid's show or something. So I think it's stuff like that. So dude, Superman, I see you upload whatever and watch it 30 times before leaving the video. Okay, well that's cool. Also, hello, freaking. Thank you. It's if it's like a 4-minute video, that's a lot of time spent. But if you do you.
Just do what I used to do back in my old place. I used to just put on your channel and then walk away to do other things. And just have it in the background as background noise.
We had it, I can't remember who it was. One of the people at BronyCon or one of the conventions, he left his laptop on while he was away. So we put it on YouTube on Justin Bieber playlist at twice speed. And just let it on repeat.
Because I got to move now.
And because his history just filled with recommendations for Justin Bieber.
It's amazing.
It was great. And it was double speed, so it was just like zooming through no audio or anything, just in the background for hours.
It's like, boy, this guy sure does love Justin Bieber. We should send him more.
You can go into your history and delete it. And if you delete everything in your history for it, it'll normally stop recommending you it. But it's still like Google never forgets. So it's in there. So yeah, otherwise. Problem is I do something like that and then I can't be mad if people do it to me, and I would be, but now I can't. So
the last pony video I looped and just watched over and over again was probably something from Captain Howard very recently. I think he put out a video of pretty much just ponies driving in a car.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and I couldn't get enough of it. The music.
But then you're legitimately. Well, that's the thing too. If you have catchy music on a video, like Remembrance, there's probably a lot of people that have watched Remembrance not for the video, but because it's on their music playlist. Yeah. So having a catchy music without anything interrupting it can be useful.
Yeah.
But
I mean, depends. The song was good. I got the song on my playlist now. But if I'm gonna listen to the song on my computer, like the visuals from that video do add a lot to it. So
I've been doing it now because I follow like Prime Cronus and Trailer Music World and a couple of these conglomerate things. Anytime I find a song on there that I like now, I go and find the original artist, and if they have an upload, and there's sometimes where they just don't, and then I'll stay on Prime Cronus or something, but I will find the original upload. So it takes me more time. It's so much easier just to go to Prime Cronus and like and whatever, but then if that person doesn't have the copyright set up correctly, Prime Cronus could be potentially getting revenue for audio that somebody else made. So I always try to find the original person. So if I'm listening to it like this, they're getting money. Damn, hope YouTube don't invent more things like that. I have more videos. Well, no, I can understand why they have those flags and to mark things, because there's probably advertisers that will say like, we don't want to have our name on a video that has this type of content. And so the two choices are to guess what people have in their video, or I guess three choices: guess what people have in their video and hope that you're right or wrong. Just highly restrict everything, and then therefore taking money away from creators, or ask them the questions beforehand and then they don't have to worry about it. So does it suck that I have to answer? Well, have to answer them. They're all defaulted to no. So if you know what the questions are, you just go boop, boop, done. But I think that it helps give more trust the advertisers will have more trust, which means more money in the system for going to creators. So I don't mind that part with the questions. Daily motion here. No, I think that I think YouTube is fine. I think that there's definitely a lot of things they need to fix and a lot of problems they have, and I do think that their method of dealing with the community is not the greatest, but I also think that the community villainizes them first, and any decision that they make is always looked at like they're trying to harm everything, whether or not it actually has that intent or not. Like the community contributions thing removal recently, I actually feel that was probably the best move that they could have made. It's a system that I don't use, that not many people use, but then people are breaking the rule of law, large numbers, and starting to throw around big numbers that they don't really understand to try to make it feel like YouTube is being a villain here, when really they're not. They're getting rid of a system that just wasn't used or isn't worth putting the investment in. But then you give it like 2 months and everybody's going to forget about it. And they're going to still use the platform. So YouTube wouldn't care anyway. Why would they care if everybody's complaining? Because nobody's going to leave it. So it's
cherries.
Nice. But there was a thing I saw before where they found a writing on a rock. It was not a rock slab, but on it was on some kind of. It was like a chalk type surface. It was like an old writing type thing. And it was when they were transitioning to paper, and they found this writing where this guy was saying how, complaining about how all these newfangled kids are transitioning from to a paper medium, but that isn't going to be a permanent thing, and why would they do something like that, and what happens when they run out of paper, and all this stuff. And it just shows that when things change, people resist the change, no matter what the change is, whether it's for better or worse. People just resist change, and YouTube's trying to change things for the better, and every now and then they're going to make hiccups. It's going to be a 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation, but I feel like YouTube's slightly better than it was years and years ago. Depends on who you look at. From my perspective, not really, because animators don't really work that well. But there's other people that are able to make a living off of YouTube much better than they were a couple years ago. So it just depends. I feel that it's not the greatest medium for me, but that's for making a living off of. I already have a job. That's fine. So it's just a nice hobby. I don't need to worry about all the little nuances of it. You start easy with some pictures and like stuff. Yeah, I recommend if you're going to start animating anything, start with pictures. Animating like you can see here. If this is a picture and this is a picture, well, it's kind of a weird picture, but that's all I did with this. Is I made. She's rar. Is I made 2 pictures and now I'm just going to blend them together. So if you can make pictures, you can animate. I don't know if it's better, but as you say, it just depends on perspective you see. Yeah, well, and even better is subjective. Of what would you consider better? I think that the couple of the things that I don't like with YouTube aren't even YouTube's fault. The fact that there's so many like late night hosts and TV personalities that are doing YouTube that then almost take away from anybody can upload and use YouTube type of thing, where now everybody has to have this production value that is similar to a big production crew, and that makes it difficult for people to start out. How do you start out when you have a simple handheld camera that costs you like $100 compared to somebody that has a $1,500 camera? So it's being run more like a business, which actually is a good thing in some ways. But for people starting out, that means you have to have an investment, and that's hard. I feel like a lot of content has gotten better, but the content has started, because of how the algorithm works, pushing towards long videos that are out often. It's pushing towards top 10s because that's actually been one thing for a while, because people like their dopamine kicks, and they don't want one big bit of information. They want lots of little things of information because they keep getting little dopamine kicks. It's like when you're on a website and you like go to memes and you're seeing one after another. Every time you see a new one, you're getting a little dopamine kick. And we've gotten to a culture of that wants lots and lots of little stuff. So we keep getting that kick. And so these videos are big on that. So that's what I don't like, because if the algorithm's prioritizing that type of stuff, I'm making the opposite of that. And it's content less often that's shorter and just of higher quality. That means that I would not be able to use YouTube as a job replacement unless I got really, really big, and then I would have to have Patreon instead doing it, because it just wouldn't be able to supplement.
I think YouTube's
Let's go lunch, sir.
issue, and it's really not their fault, is they recognize problems, and then they try to deal with those problems in the only way they can, with a blanket fix. But unfortunately, or fortunately, YouTube has a very diverse range of what it offers in videos. So while they can only really offer a blanket fix to issues, because they can't go video to video and check everything, they don't have the resources to do that. They put these blanket fixes in, and then some people are like, well, wait, why is this affecting me? They're like with the children's thing. Like,
and
there's reasons they did that.
Yeah, they didn't want to. The government came down hard, and then they had to enforce it, so I don't like the way that YouTube went about it, but it's not their fault.
No, I don't think any of the things that people do negatively about YouTube is necessarily their fault. They're just doing what they can to fix issues with the resources they have. And that often means a blanket fix that doesn't fit every issue.
Creating channels of bet, you pay something for probably gain something. Well, and the problem too is popularity brings popularity. So that's the thing with celebrities. If a celebrity goes and makes a channel, they have a large amount following and a recognizable name to bring in people quicker. If you go into YouTube with super cool, good quality content, but nobody knows you, and you don't, and even then you'd have to spam the crap out of places to get your name out there. It just takes time, mainly luck, and but the more popular you are, the more popular you become. It's an exponential increase. So if like for instance, the Rathlos, when I made a Rathlos Twitter account, that blew up really quickly because I was piggybacking off of my main account to jumpstart that one. I thought there was another example of that.
Can't you just get a bunch of thumbnails of women in bikinis?
But YouTube has to recommend it? And if you have a brand new channel with only 3 views, why would they recommend that to somebody?
Well, you just have to have it come across their feed.
But how would it come across their feed?
Women with bikinis will attract people.
But YouTube has to put it there.
Yeah, but they'll put it there because a lot of people are clicking on it.
But they have to for them to click it, YouTube has to put it there. So
people will find the hot lady.
How?
It's like a dividing rod.
No, that's the problem of if you have a bigger channel, you get more clicks, then YouTube will see it's getting a lot of clicks and promote it, which helps you get more. And so it's this back and forth. But if you don't have one of them at all, you're never going to get the other.
Yeah.
So it's annoying because it means that the Brony community is the same thing though, where the people that are more popular are the ones that people focus on, and then some of these people that are starting out with good high quality content, unless somebody that is bigger pushes their name out, they're probably going to have a lot of difficulty noticing. The only reason my channel blew up earlier on was because of Equestria Daily. If it wasn't for them, I would have had a lot of difficulties. But I posted some of my stuff there, and they posted it online. So I piggybacked off them.
I still remember the one time Jay was doing a stream, and he was doing a giveaway, like at Equestria Daily. For one reason or another, they promoted his stream, which is really kind of weird. I don't think
If it's for charity, that makes sense.
No, they weren't doing it for charity. He was just doing it because to do it. He was giving away free games. And,
Well, that reminds me.
yes, your free games. And they promoted it. And you know how many people showed up to that stream? It was like 400 people. It was crazy. He had like 10 games to give away. And he had people just blowing up the chat.
No, that does remind me. I have a whole bunch of extra keys from Humble Bundle. So on this list, if there is any game that somebody here wants, I'm not gonna like send somebody every key that's on there. But if there is a key that somebody sees of like, hey, I'd like that game. And they're okay with the platform that it's on. I think the Origin one's gone, so it's mostly Steam. Let me know, and I can get. I'll just PM you the key. All these games are. There's a small chance that it might have been used, and I just don't know it. But there we go. Right there, can you get Company of Heroes? You want Company of Heroes? Oh, that's actually right here too. Come on.
Doesn't like you.
There it goes. Age of Empires is only the expansion, though.
You already have to have the base game.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Goddamn.
Basically, you're never going to get rid of that. Because I think the only way Steam even sells it anymore is the whole game.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm using Steam Labs or Streamlabs for stuff, and it won't it'll pop up with the screen for Whisper, but it won't actually let me send it. So there you go. It's Company of Heroes.
Why is nobody wanted Psychonauts? Do you people not understand it's an amazing game? I'm fumed.
So if that doesn't work, apologies. It doesn't tell me if I've used it or not. It tells me if I've revealed it or not, and I apparently haven't revealed that one. So, but yeah, any of these. I recommend Darkness 2. Very good first-person shooter. Psychonauts is good. Really, every game on here is good to some degree or not. But if you play World of Warships, I don't even know what this bonus content is. It's just bonus content. A lot of these are years and years old. Some like back before they were owned by IGN. I think was it IGN? I can't remember who owns them anymore. But I can pop up the list again if you need. But it's just all those games I already have, and so I got the bundle, and it just came with extra keys for things I already own. So it's not no hair off my back. So it's a contest of whoever says the words first, I guess.
And I'm not allowed to have them because I don't really want any of them.
Yeah, it's not fun if you do. I'm not gonna be like, ooh, and the winner is you.
Yay! I'll throw it in the pile of my own.
YouTube ends up with a lot of underrated channels with good content. Everybody find out some great YouTubers with good content. Yeah, and actually, it's hard to find them. That's like we originally early on wanted to make. We have a channel started. It was like SFM Pony's YouTube channel, official one, and we were going to use it to help promote smaller YouTubers, and we were going to promote that channel through our bigger channels to help again give the boost to that channel to then help boost the other channels. We just never got around to it because it's a lot of work, and it's only really good and useful if it's consistent, and we probably wouldn't have been. But yeah, it's really about the only way to really get noticed or popular is to piggyback, is to get somebody else that can put your content somewhere else. EQD was what helped me early on, and once you get that initial hit, once you get a few hundred people that are in there, then those people will share to other people, and so it'll take off on its own from there. But it's just getting started that is very, very, very difficult. And I started at a perfect time because when I started, the knockout models didn't even exist at the time. It was still the KP Shadow Scroll ones, and they were very, very low quality. That about within the first month of me starting SFM, the knockout models came out, and so the quality of the models were so much higher that my content, I feel, stood out anyway because the models looked better and they had more articulation and quality. So even if I wasn't very good from the start, from my perspective, it helped because the content just looked better. So I feel like I cheated my way up the ladder faster than I maybe would have on my own. But there's a lot of people that I feel like they could definitely end up making some absolutely amazing content, but they lack the motivation from the response, the feedback. Without some feedback, you're probably going to feel like, why am I making this stuff? So community feedback is super helpful. That's why saying great job is so powerful, because you're helping reinforce their hobby.
I know which of your videos early on that I watched the most.
Destiny?
No.
It had to be.
I know it didn't, but I didn't actually find that one till way later, till after I knew you.
So you do tricks.
Because I was looking at the ones that were getting the most views, and it wasn't the one getting the most views at the time. It's one of the ones that still gets a lot of views.
Oh, leaving this table?
No, the one that you're...
Oh, Luna's banishment?
The one you're ticked that you weren't able to monetize.
Oh, Twidash.
Twidash, yes. Because there were other videos of ponies kissing, but none of them were the level of quality of that one. That and Apple Dash.
Well, I would think that it would be that the level of quality without becoming smut.
Well, they couldn't become smut on YouTube. If they became smut on YouTube, they got tossed.
Well, you can get close.
Oh no, there was like, I think there was one that got popular. Like, I can't remember the character. They were basically just all over each other. It was just a crazy makeout session.
I think I remember that one too, because people would link to that one on Twidash saying thank you for not being this.
Well, it was much lower quality. And Twidash was more about, I don't know, it was more, what's the word? Wholesome.
It's more about emotional than physical.
Yeah. And that adds a lot. It makes it a better makeout.
Less guilty.
No. I don't know about that.
I can't fap to this.
Well, no. No, it added a lot to it. It made it a far more enjoyable thing to watch. I think I watched the other one maybe once. And I was like, oh, okay.
So then I noticed this not look different the moment of peace. Until oh, that was because that one is the... They keep throwing new adjectives to enhanced, revamp. I think it's revamped. I was actually just wanting to play around with the new models and see how they work. The lip syncing to me is difficult. It's made for a lot of very specific facial functions, but it actually was harder to lip sync with. The quality of it works pretty good, but I feel like some of it is... You can make one certain look work really, really well, but lip syncing is mixing a lot of things, and that's where it didn't work so well. Thankfully, though, it worked really good for like loud noises, and because it's again a lot of those extreme facial expressions, and Soldier was a loud person, so that worked perfect for that. But yeah, those were one of the newer sets of models. But I think I'm gonna probably just stick with the enhanced for now, which is what Twi is right now. I feel like it's lower memory usage, easier to use, and I already am comfortable with the way that the lip syncing works to do it a lot quicker, where it took me like 3 times longer on that one to do the same lip syncing.
Would it be weird to say that if you did change your models at this point, it wouldn't feel like your videos as much? Like almost kind of, it's not your art style, though when you animate, it's very different from, say, other animators animating, but... I don't know, it's just kind of like, there's like a signature, your signature on them.
Well, I've been using a lot of the same models too, so that like Sideswipe over and over and over again.
Well, it's just that if I'm watching one of your videos, and it could be the same models compared to another animator's videos, I can tell they're your videos because there are things you do that they don't do, and things they do that you don't do. There's always like a bit of a signature.
I mean, everybody has a style.
Yeah. Which is why when you make big animated projects, you have to have art directors making sure everybody's animating the same way. It's left to their own devices, everything will look a little different.
That's the problem I have with some collaborative projects in SFM. Is if you don't have somebody that's doing that direction, you're kind of screwed. But if you're also doing the collaboration over digital distances and they're not being paid,
they're
not going to give a shit.
Yeah.
And why should I be told what to do or what not to do when I'm not being paid to do this? So
I mean, you can just watch a video like Doors and you can tell everything, even though a lot of people are using the same models. The animations are all very different.
How warm is it today? Today got up to like 80, I think 80 something.
Oh,
It was humid. That's why I shut the windows.
They don't let me outside. So
It was cool and nice this morning, but when it got later in the day, like about 3 o'clock, I had to shut it up because it was cloudy, but it was just getting humid. It was 80 in here.
I noticed the roads were damp, and I didn't think it rained, so I'm guessing the humidity got pretty high. It's a really sweet wine. I can't hear what she's saying exactly, so I just hear.
It's in.
Oh my.
She shoves.
You had to stop yourself.
No, because I was going to try to like give justification to your rude joke, but
I didn't make a joke. I just grinned wide ear to ear.
you said oh my.
Oh my. What a interesting line Twilight is saying. The rocket, it's in. I didn't say nothing wrong. He's so cute. He's like a bug.
Okay, so I need to.
Yeah, there's lots of videos of ponies acting like cats. We need more videos of ponies acting like dogs.
The Forgalorga does that.
Yeah. Or his other YouTube channel.
It's not the same person.
I'm not.
It's the name backwards. It has to be the same person.
The animation is exactly the same, except one does music and the other one does like
Silence.
That's the only difference between the two.
That's freaking. It's in. Yeah. Welcome to animating, where you're going to hear the same line over and 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 then when you're doing lip syncing, you're going to hear. It's my life. But every now and then you get to hear the cute ones of just a little bark.
I want to give her a chew bone.
Love that so much. Just arf.
Let's go launch the rocket.
So here I'm adding some of that secondary animation. Which is really just me. I'd almost do the exact same way to blend two shots together, like when they're just talking and trying to move between different poses, is I usually just have them bounce between the two, and then I just like ease it in and out with a little secondary animation and a head bob, and it really just, it works every single time. I've done that 1,000 times, and that's why I can do quick. Oh. Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, you're saying Celsius. I don't know what 80 is in Celsius, but that's... I live in northern U.S., and we have relatively mild summers. We had a couple weeks of 90, and then it's just been back into the 70s and 80s again.
Last year, it was like super cool all year. All summer. Super mild.
Yeah, last year it did. And I don't know, look, this week was just absolutely gorgeous.
They have really nice days here. Like, I moved up here from Kentucky. Kentucky's just, it's either hot and humid or raining. That is what you get. Here actually has nice days. Like, super nice days. Low humidity, lovely temperatures. And you don't have to wait for the fall.
Well, fall here is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Because it's usually really, really dry. And the temperatures usually 50s to 60s for a couple months. But then it hits winter and it's...
That's the crappy part.
What, you don't like winter?
It's death.
It's nice.
Except literally, people are dying every
Yeah, it's all, the temperatures are super, super low, and
like,
they don't get above freezing from like mid-December until I think like end of February. We have like 2.5 months where you'll never see it go above freezing, and you'll never really even see it get close. You're usually going to be a good bit below freezing.
I learned that there's a myth about Minnesotans when I moved up here, because I was.
Well, thank you for the subscription, Zippity.
Zippity zoop.
Good to see you. 7 months. I was pretty sure you have been. Yes, all the emotes.
Yes, gotta hold on to those horses.
Thank you very much.
But the myth I learned about Minnesotans is, they say that I was in the belief that they are super good drivers in the snow because they're used to it, and that they're just good at it, and there's not nearly as many accidents.
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that, but that's what I believed, because I had heard that lots of times. But the truth is, they just accept the losses. People are just wrecking and dying everywhere.
Well, no, it's for how bad the weather gets, we are actually pretty good. Like Houston one year, when I was working in trucking, had a teeny bit of ice that popped in, and they had to shut down the whole city, and the whole thing was just accidents on every corner.
Yeah.
And because they just don't deal with it all the time.
Well, the roads aren't designed for it like that.
Yeah, but we get that every week or every day, and yeah, we'll have accidents, but being that the road itself is almost sheer ice and everybody's just driving down it, we have relatively low accident for the conditions.
And I've driven in it, and I white knuckled the hole every time, and watched people go veering off the road. I always drove by like people spinning out, and
yeah, you spin out. It happens. I've spun out many times on the road.
You just smash into things.
Yeah. And then you just put it in reverse and you keep going.
Yeah, you just be like, glad I'm not that guy, or that guy, or that guy over there.
It's more of if it's bad enough, you just don't go anywhere. We'll shut down. But like we had to go downtown for a concert the one time, and there was a blizzard that was going on, so we drove into downtown during the blizzard. And the roads were completely covered with snow. You had no traction. Everybody going 15 down the entire road, and everybody was still just driving. We got there fine. I think that was for the Final Fantasy concert.
I wonder who didn't make it.
Who didn't what?
Who did? Like, how many people died getting to that concert?
Probably nobody. Not many people die every day from an accident. Yeah, you can beat up a car, but normally you're going so slow because you can't get the traction to go fast enough that the most you're going to do is go bump a cars and then just spin around, and then you go wee in a ditch, and then you tow truck and you're fine. Not many people die from those accidents. To die, you need a high enough speed. Nobody can build up that kind of speed.
No, I saw that. Like the very first time I got on the roads here after a snowstorm, I watched somebody 360 into the divider, and they were going pretty fast.
There are people that are overconfident and stupid, for sure. Yeah. But for the most part, Minnesota drivers know what they're doing in the winter. At the beginning of winter always sucks. Because it feels like everybody has to like flip modes in their brain to winter mode. So the first couple snowfalls, there's problems everywhere. But by the end of winter, people are just like, wee, and they're just spinning down the road.
This is what I'm talking about acceptable losses.
I'm just not being pessimistic about it.
I'm not being I noticed. Like, I thought it was just like Minnesotans were all just good snow drivers. And then I came to find out that nah, they're just okay with the number of crashes.
But also, like, if I'm driving in really, really bad weather, I don't really panic. I don't white knuckle. I'll keep both hands on the wheel just to ensure control, and I'll keep my radio low just so that you can hear things around you better. But I just maintain focus. That's it, and I don't really panic at all.
I have to have the radio on if the roads are bad, just because I need that thing to distract me, to keep me from thinking about my imminent death.
You want something to distract you from the road.
From the possibility of death, yes.
But it's just enhancing your chances of death.
No.
You're not going to die because you were probably going... You could have probably had an old man with his walker passing you down that road.
He'd be dead.
Oh no, he slipped on the ice and he started spinning out.
Yes.
And poor Walker, those tennis balls didn't stop him.
No, he slipped and I just ran him over.
It's okay. You got a couple points and Ronova got him anyway.
Yeah. I always think that when I see somebody passing on the highway on a bike. Like, if they tip over right now, I'm just going to run them over. Always worries me.
Well, no, it's more of if I live here. This is the way that the roads are bad in the winter. It's just the way that it is. And if I go out every time hating it, that's not really a good way to live life. Like literally panicking, anxious, and worried about every little thing. If something if I lose control on the road, it happens. Whatever. I can do everything I can to not only prevent but make it as the best out of the worst situation as possible. But I'm not going to sit there and panic the whole time. All that's going to do is take years off my life as my stress levels are up for no stupid reason. So
nah, it's going to take me a few more winters maybe before I don't finally park my vehicle after driving in through a bad snowstorm. Just like,
was it like your first blizzard? Did you just like come and like you parked your car and then just wept for 5 minutes as you're sitting there?
I just remember the first year, the one where I saw the person hit the divider right in the first snowfall. Just me white knuckling, going the whole thing, just like stiff as a board. Like watching, being super careful. I got wheel drive. I do not have a vehicle built for the snow.
Real drive is rougher in the winter here. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I managed it last year, but even my boss, I told him, "Yeah, my car's rear-wheel drive." And I say, "Up here?"
It's
a bad idea.
Because if you lose control, it's harder to gain it back again. Because you're pushing yourself on a rear wheel where you're pulling. Yeah, but then there's the people that think that because they have all-wheel drive that they have all-wheel stop.
Yeah,
and they don't. So these big cars, it's like, yeah, okay, you're a bigger car, you have four-wheel drive, but you also have a lot more weight and momentum. So you ain't stopping.
Yeah, those are the people you see wrecking the most, honestly.
It's been 8 years since you built a snowman. Here, normally snow will fall. It's actually not awkward for us to have snow on Halloween. Like over a decade ago, we had more of a drought period, and it was usually in the 70s around Halloween. But now it's the normal, where it's not uncommon for us to have a blizzard or snow around Halloween. And then we'll have snow on the ground normally until like early April. So it's usually about 7 months. In Minnesota, there's only 1 month that has not had snow, and I think that is August. So this month, they've had snow in July before. So that's extreme situations. But yeah, I like the snow. In the winter here, everything goes into hibernation mode, so everything becomes brown and dead looking. So if you don't have snow, then it just looks like death. So the snow makes it at least pretty. It's like you're putting a makeup job on like a very very ugly person. So it covers it all up. Then in the spring, I like it where spring can at least get a good head start quick, so that when the snow melts, that everything starts growing right away. Otherwise, it's just brown mud for like a month. So yeah, I like fall more because you get the pretty colors of the leaves. Everything's dry. You get a high breeze. Everything just smells great. I love the fall. But that's also my birthday is in the fall too, so I guess it helps. Ice is worse than rain and snow.
Yes.
It depends.
Really?
Ice
Ice is always
ice
worse.
with rain on top.
If it freezes, that's just more ice.
No, because if you have ice, dry enough ice has traction. Not much, but it does have some. You put wet ice, you have none. Wet ice. That's why in Kentucky the roads are probably worse than Minnesota, because in Kentucky,
ice storms.
because you get a lot of the temperatures right in that 30 degree or that just around 0 degrees Celsius, because you get stuff that freezes and then the car's exhaust is enough to put a nice sheen layer of water on top, and that makes it really hard to control. In Minnesota here, usually if it's between about if we go Fahrenheit, between 5 degrees and 25 degrees, we'll get snow, but it's dry and it'll just land and you're good. It just blows around. If you go low enough in the temperature though, you start running to where other things start freezing. Like during rush hour, exhaust from the back of the car will cause condensation on the road because of the heat, and it will freeze, causing black ice. And then you get ice that is within all the crevices of the concrete or the asphalt, and so you have ice that you can't see, and that gets dangerous again. So anything below a certain temp, I just won't drive even if it hasn't snowed or anything because of that crap. Black ice is the scary crap, and roads around 30 degrees or 0 degrees Celsius are scary. Anything between about, at least in Fahrenheit, -5 and 25, I'm fine with. I have no problem with the roads then, because everything's fine. It just blows around. The snow never melts, and the roads, even if the snow covers a road, you drive over it and it just blows away. It's not actually causing anything to be slick because it's not sticking. But that's just from, I've been driving in Minnesota weather now for 17 years, so
The roads here are straighter too.
yeah, we don't have curves, or we don't have crowning,
Yeah.
where a lot of other places will curve the road to have the water drain off.
Yeah.
But if we do that, then we just all slide off the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, all our roads are flatter. It makes it easier for the snow trucks too. That means that we do get more road floods, especially up north. But it's a lot easier for that.
Driving. So I remember in Kentucky one time I was on the highway and it was after a bad ice storm and it was just pushing me off the road. I wasn't even really moving and it was just sliding to the side because the roads are designed to drain off water. And when there's an ice storm, it means it's designed to force your car off the road. And it's not good. Not to mention that up here, anyways, everything's a lot flatter, fewer hills. I notice road designs generally have a lot of curbs that help if you instead of going off the road, you just bounce off the curb. At least in like the city-ish areas, you didn't really see that much. Like even in the cities, back in Kentucky, the sidewalks would generally be on a parallel with the roads. There would be no curb. So there's been a lot of design here that helps to deal with the winter weather that I did not see back home.
Well, plus here, if it goes, we're going to get some snow. There's like 8,000 snow trucks or snow plows that just all hit the road at once, and they go in like multiple lines. So like one snowfall hits the ground, and like a truck just goes and gets rid of it. Like they clear the roads fast as hell. And if it's rush hour time, Like if it snowed in the overnight, they'll be out there all night cleaning the roads to ensure that when rush hour starts, they're as clean as possible. Not always possible.
Yeah.
But they have thousands in Minnesota of snow trucks compared to other places.
I did notice that a lot of the businesses, though, they don't even bother up here. They don't, like, if Target gets a bunch of snow in their parking lot, they just shrug it off. They don't bother to even clear it.
I like the timing of this, so I'm going through and...
They don't use salt that much here, though.
No, they do. They salt the shit out of it. If it gets... Salt doesn't melt ice. It lowers its... It lowers the temperature to melting temperature. So instead of melting at like 32, it'll melt at like 12.
Yeah.
But if you get cold enough, it doesn't do anything. So why the fuck should you salt? So if it gets below 0, they will usually put sand down.
That's what I saw a lot of, was sand.
So and they'll mix some salt in with it, but that doesn't really do much if it's cold enough. So in January, where we sometimes have like 3-4 weeks straight where it's too cold for salt, they're just wasting money dropping salt.
They actually started down in Cincinnati, which was close to where I used to live. They were mixing the salt with beet juice to make it work at even lower temperatures. I don't know what the temperature range was then, if they mixed the salt with beet juice, but they were spraying the streets of Cincinnati with a mixture of salt and beet juices. Weird. Apparently, it gives it a slight. It's more of a natural antifreeze.
Okay, so the feet here. Apparently,
They just need to start spraying all the roads with like alcohol. That'll do it. Of course, some people might start like licking the roads.
so I changed the timing. I also need to... That is the elevator.
In Kentucky, that was definitely the case. We got more freezing rain and ice than we did snow in the winters. Because we were right on that line. Which made driving not always fun. I managed not to take a single snow day off last year. I was actually pretty proud of myself. Whereas back in Kentucky, if we had a snow, even a little bit, I'd call in to work.
I've taken, I think, 1 snow day from work, and that was because it was the road. I worked in trucking, so if the roads were bad enough, there really wasn't going to be much to do at work because most places were going to close or not want to have stuff shipping. So it would be quiet, and that day I normally had to drive 25-30 minutes to get to work, and that morning was just super bad. So if I were to go, it would have taken me 2.5 to 3 hours to get to work. What's the fucking point for going to work then? So,
You know, attack the horse. It's just a cute angle. I want to boop that horse, but then I'll leave a smudge on your screen. And I feel like you wouldn't appreciate that.
alright, I think that is the right amount of timing. So I felt that there was too much of a gap for her not doing anything.
She's not looking down anymore.
Let's go launch the rocket.
Does she not look down anymore at the camera?
Well, she does.
Okay, good. That was the best part.
Let's go launch.
But I that was a little bit of a long gap, so I removed about 1/3 of a second from it.
Let's go launch the rocket.
At that time, the audio is off now too. The problem is I moved it all 10 frames, but everything has to move with it. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. That would have changed this. Oh no, because those already moved. Okay, perfect. Let me get back here. Jeremy to the just not getting that cold. Yeah, if it's not getting cold enough, then they're not going to drop it. Here, we usually just get it in the early winter and late winter. Freezing rain and sleet are more likely to occur than snow. Yeah, if you're sitting around that 30-degree range, that's why I don't mind Minnesota winters that much. I don't mind things being really cold. I just don't like dealing with mushy snow. And when it's really, really cold and it gets cold enough, it just doesn't even snow anymore. It's too cold for snow. Being in the cold kind of sucks. But that's what houses and stuff are for. You have the heat there. Yeah, but it's during the summer you're usually paying for the air conditioning. So
AC's cheap on heat though.
Not all that much. So are the quotes that is in the animation you took from the show were made up? I was just curious about that in the pony animations. Depends on what quotes you're talking about. You're talking about the ones here? Because these are from Borderlands. So I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about. Good night, Dirt. That's all my picture here. All right, well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Yeah, Zippity said it here. Yeah, it's the audio. The audio from Twilight is from. Actually, I don't think I use. Oh no, and then I do use the audio for Sunset Shimmer is from the movie. Other than that, I think all of it's from her in terms of voicing. There's definitely like sound effects and stuff, but those are pulled from just the SFM library. And trust me, there are a lot of just random sound effects put throughout here just to make things work, like his little steps and impacts and everything. You have to manually add all those. It is Dr. Spara. I don't know if they really bring her up by name, but it's in the files. And she's got tons of amazing lines. There's this other ones about like blenders, because they end up using a blender to blend like two brains together. And other ones regarding something being like to scoop up the bloody guts and like you can find them. Oh yeah, also those mission tree is called rocket surgery as well, so that's where I kind of got the idea on it.
I need some robo lubricant. Gonna be so gross. So also, grab me some Kragon skins for the nose cones of the rocket. Aerodynamicism. I need some stalker blood as lubricant. Gonna be gross. So hot. The stalker exam table's probably got some leftover blood to drain. Don't think about how gross it is. Or do, because it's still cool.
So that's one of my favorite ones from her. So she's got so many good voice lines, but like the blood ones, I try to keep the stuff that's on my channel to PG-13. And if I'm doing a lot of blood, then that's potentially moving it past that age range. And so I don't want to do that. So while the voice line's funny and a lot of these other ones could be funny, blending brains and stuff, that's getting a little too far. That's why I use the mallet for making the brain, because at least it's not rated R.
Yeah, I could see that. I got some horrifying stuff.
In. Let's go launch the rocket. Let's go.
Seeing what other like things this voice actress has done.
Not much. I originally had tried to find if she had done a similar voice, so I could grab other voice lines from her.
Her filmography is pretty extensive.
Yeah, but nothing's like this. I just couldn't find anything that worked with that.
She's done a lot of bit parts, I think, is the issue. She's not done a lot of main characters. She does like a lot of one-offs.
Yeah, this is like when people heard this voice, there were so many people that had played the game that were like, she was my favorite part of that game. Because the game was so-so, but that mission was every time you have to do it. And the whole way that mission starts...
Let's learn rocket science! Woo! I got an idea for a rocket navigation system, but I need your help.
Though it was somebody started panicking and needed to get some air on a space station, so they opened a window and got sucked out, and that's why she pipes in. She's like, "That was so cool! Did you see that guy?" He was like, "Shoof!" And it was just a great way to start.
It's in! Let's go!
She apparently does a lot of anime.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think all voice actors gonna touch anime at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go launch the
She does apparently play a character in Borderlands 3 as well. Called Ellie.
Ellie?
Mm-hmm. In Borderlands 3. I don't know anything about Borderlands, so I don't really know who that might be.
I played a little bit earlier today.
Did you?
Well, we're
It
going
looks
through
like
one of the DLCs, and I just got a little bit through it.
It does look like a fun game, but I want to play it with people, and your guys' group's full, so...
Then I've already played through it twice on my character and another once on other people's.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about it is your some of your level type things carry over. So as soon as I wanted to beat the game as fast as possible on one character, because then you can carry over and gain levels on this True Vault Hunter bit, which is just giving you extra stats and
I'd
unlocks.
probably only want to play the game once through, and then I'd probably be satisfied.
There's also 4 DLCs.
Oh.
Though there will be a 4th. They just came out with a 3rd. And these are the big main side story ones. And then they're going to have a 4th one a little later.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like Terra Strong. That's why these sideswipe bits work so well.
Let's go launch the rocket.
And it wasn't my idea to do the Sideswipe thing. That was actually a spawn from Jay Holler. During... so I got brought on for Anthology 5. And Jay Holler lives like a couple miles from here. We hang out. And there was he had messaged me because he said that he had an idea for a video to put with, I think it was Pinkie Pie, or because of the bubbly nature of Dr. Sparrow, Pinkie Pie or potentially Twilight, to do an edit using the voice from her. And he was wondering if I could get the files for the audio. And so I was like, oh yeah, because I had played it before, so he wanted to see if I could record it. And I had some problems recording it because there's voice filters and all this other stuff in there. So I found the files, extracted them instead, and so I had them. Well, then Jay got distracted on Anthology for working on the intro, so he wasn't able to work on the idea. But I love the audio, so I'm like, well, if you're not going to use it, can I use it for one of the Anthology shorts? And so he's like, oh yeah, fine, that's fine. And so because he had mentioned that and had me extract the files, I ended up making a Sideswipe short. So it was because of his original idea for it. Hello, Blurred. It's the same thing for the Rocky one of Scootaloo, or not Scootaloo, but Apple Bloom punching Tiara in the face. That was also Jay's idea, where he said, could you make a short of Tiara getting punched in the face, and to the style of the Rocky skit from Jackass. And so we kind of passed bits of the idea back and forth, and so technically both my Anthology shorts for 5 were spawns from Jay Holler's ideas.
There's actually another one of his ideas that I remember that I still kind of secretly, quietly, not so quietly in this exact moment, want you to make. The scene from Monty Python.
Oh, Bring Out Your Dead?
Bring Out Your Dead, but with Applejack loading with her mom.
Yeah, that was going to be an Anthology short I was going to do.
I still think that'd be amazing.
It would have been a lot of lip syncing and a lot of figuring out how some stuff worked. And I just never went forward with it. But it would have been funny. But yeah, it would have been Applejack with her mother on her back. I'm not dead.
I always just imagine the ending and be like, see you next Tuesday, and her dad just back behind her like, no.
What is more funnier to be part of, Doors or Anthology? If like, do you mean by that like what's just the most fun group to be a part of?
The same group.
Oh yeah, see, they're crazy.
It's the same group of people. Doors
or Anthology?
No, I'm saying if you're like saying which group of people is more fun to be with, I'm like a lot of the same people.
To produce? I don't know if they're comparable actually. So Doors is, well, it's kind of run by 1 or 2 people. It's really you just make whatever you want to make and then send it to them. and then it was compiled and made. That was it. Anthology is different. Anthology is similarly, it's a group, but it's an invited group, a contained group. It's a lot of the same people over time that are very drastically different ways of making content. Well, Doors was everybody at least using the same medium, and within the similar medium, but this was a lot more larger creativity. But at like conventions, the anthology was a crew. It was an entity. Well, with Doors, it was just different animators brought together. So, to me, Doors wasn't it was a project you submitted to, but it wasn't really a group you were a part of. Anthology is a group. And so if it had to be about which was the more fun one to make content for, I would probably say Anthology, just because it came with more than just the content that was made. It was going to the conventions, getting to hang out with some of these guys that do very stupid, funny things, being a part of the panels and seeing everything that's presented, and being a part of that, to me, was a better experience than Doors, where it was just, I made a short and sent it in. So, while I would say Anthology wins between the two, I don't see them as comparable, or at least to where you could put them on the same scale, without it just outweighing because of other factors.
Oh, look at that face. It's like, I got me poops. That's a I want poops face. That's a I just got poops. Yeah.
Just like, here comes the boop. Oh no. Oh no.
Looks like she's being driven insane by the potential for poops. Not a boop, that's no, look at that snow. It was made for boops.
Boop.
No,
Boop, 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 boop.
Seems violent. Such a weird angle, straight on. Horse faces are weird, straight on.
Let's go.
So if I usually like having a little bounce between bits, so that if she's moving between two different poses, that she kind of dips down a little bit. Just helps move the whole model move instead of just like a head that's pivoting. But I don't want to have to animate like the back legs, so I just lock the back legs and just move the mid point. It's fine, nobody notices the difference. But I need to lock the front legs, so. But then I can bend the pelvis down.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think I just need to go down with her.
Let's go. Let's go.
I have to be careful because she actually shifts.
Let's go.
Oh no, not really.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I think I need to make this
Let's
smaller.
go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, I gotta. Wasn't much, but I do need to bend the legs to make up for the difference. I'm not using a rig because I don't like the IK rigs that the ponies come with, or that exist right now. And that's not, to me, after learning how the rigs work, it's not a problem with the rigs, it's a problem with the structure that the ponies have and a rig not working well with that structure. Mainly, a rig wants elbows and bones that are pretty evenly spaced. These don't. You have these bones that are really, really close to each other, and that allows very, very little motion. Boop to snoot.
That horse face. She's got like some shadowing going on. She's got like a really strong chin. Oh no, her boober. It got Jimmy Durani'd. She's gonna go ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Does anybody know who that is?
Let's go.
Am I
Launch
old?
the rocket.
Actually, Jimmy Durani was dead before I was born, so pretty sure. No.
Let's go launch the rocket.
You just see like the bottom with it flapping. It's so weird.
It's like when they have an anime character that has a mustache, and so they instead of the mouth moving, it just kind of like flops around.
Oh, imagine Twilight with a mustache. Wow, cute horse face. Do you think the
Well, I
horses...
can't do that with this camera setting
The
anymore.
horses being adorable, is it a distraction from getting work done? Because I imagine it would be.
No.
It's like, look, I can't animate this horse. It's too adorable. I have to look at it and boop it
Let's go.
and feed it carrots. Why haven't you fed this horse any carrots?
I don't have any carrots. You go and get some carrots.
The heck, man! There's some
Wait for you
carrots.
to go to the fridge and be like,
It's all over your screen. Just, you'd love that. There is carrots in the fridge.
Let's
Do
go.
not tempt me. Baby
Let's go.
carrots.
Let's go. Let's go.
Perfect for little
Let's
horses.
go. Let's go.
that might actually work.
That reminds me, it's Josh's birthday today.
Yes, it is.
I'll have to wish him a happy one.
And you got to send him a game, right?
Of course. It's how I let him know that I still consider him a close friend, even though we don't always talk.
You know how I show people that I'm a friend? I send them video games. I don't talk to them. I don't talk to them. I don't want to talk to them unless once a year. Their birthday's okay.
I mean, if they have something they want to talk about, like if you want to play a game with me, call me up.
That's not how Yasha works.
That's not how most people work.
No, that's how most people work. Where you have to contact them. But that's
why nobody talks to one another.
But that's just everybody has their own way about doing things, and that's not right or wrong. But it means that if you want to be a true friend and he won't, then you need to, which means you're not being a friend.
Send him a game.
They'll say happy birthday and then nothing else.
Yeah, no. It might open up other conversations. You don't know.
When you send them the game, that's a whole separate thing. Like you can't start a conversation. That's all like an
Call
email.
it an icebreaker.
And then you're gonna expect him to contact.
Well, he'll say thank you.
Really?
Like 90% of the time I get a message. Well, not from you.
So you're just gonna wait? No.
You're just like.
You can give me stuff. That's fine. I'm not gonna say anything.
I was thinking of what to get you for your birthday. Yeah.
No, sorry, I don't actually know who that name is. There was a lot of people that submitted for Doors, and I didn't do any of the editing, I did nothing for Doors 3. So I was no different than the people that submitted.
Most of the work was done by the person we were just discussing, like as far as compiling it. And he said never again.
It's a lot of work.
No, I'm sure.
And so, but the people that for Anthology after 6, they were like, "Yeah, we're done. This is a lot of work." And then you get this high after it's out, where you get the reaction from the convention and the release and the comments, especially for people that are part of Anthology but don't really have much of a following themselves, and then they wanted that kick again, and so like, we want to do Anthology 7, and all the people that are running it were like, no, we don't want to, and it ended up being that some people pushed for it, and it started, and then they realized how much work it was, and then it got pushed back on the original people to keep it going. Yeah. So because it doesn't sound like a lot of work to edit, but it's a lot of work, and you got to tell people that you consider your friends, we're not putting that in or something. And there were some people that joined, and the content they were making could be considered offensive, and so then you're having to manage and the group and kick people out that were potentially causing toxicity. I would never want to do that. That's why I like my part with Doors Anthology of I just made stuff and then I sent it in, and then I just like went about my day.
I feel everyone who's involved with the Anthology always says it's dead, they're never making another one. But I feel like if one influential person within a certain group of people
they're done.
I know, because I don't think any of those people would ever want to try to revive it. But I'm just saying, if one of them said anything, I mean, it would be on them to make it, or do all the compiling and editing.
But once that person starts it, if they back out in any way, then you have a lot of content made by people that isn't going to go forward. And it's not just about editing.
Yeah.
There's a ton of other stuff.
That's why I'm saying there's only a few people who can actually make it happen. Some people who have basically run it, and all of them are pretty firm about not doing it again. I know how 7 happened, and let's just say the person who pushed the button on that one isn't the person who finished it. So.
But for most of the people that were involved with 7, they're glad it happened.
Yeah.
Because for years we had tried to get the main hall at BronyCon, and the one time we got the main hall where you could actually fit everybody in there, there was not a premiere. It was between 5 and 6, so they were given the main hall and didn't need the main hall. And then the year after that, 4-6, got a smaller room, and now it was a premiere time because they're like, well, you didn't use it before. This is not how this works. So thankfully, for the last BronyCon, they did give the main hall, and they filled it.
They filled it in another room.
Yeah,
an overflow room.
Yeah, there was overflow, and it was it was a good send off, and 7 was good. It actually turned out to be a very quality product. So that's why the end of 6 is so like looking backwards and sad and like trying to be more encompassing of all the people that were part of the project, because 6 was supposed to be the end. But I'm glad 7 happened. But at that point, mind the pun, you're beating a dead horse if you keep it going. You can't. It's the same thing with the series. People are like, we want more seasons. Eventually, it's going to end, and you can either choose to end it on a good note, to where you can write an actual good ending to a good story, or you can drag it on by making lower quality content that's just going to be so that people are getting their small little fix that's just reducing quality to the point where it's just canceled.
You just described Pony Life. You just described Pony Life.
But Pony Life isn't a continuing story.
It's the same characters.
It's the same characters, but it's not them taking the exact same universe and adding more and more story to it. They took the same characters, but then they put them in basically completely different situations.
They haven't made my fanfic yet. They gotta do that before they can stop.
Well, they can kill Granny Smith some other day.
Or her parents. And I had this whole headcanon about Luna.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't if they did something like The Simpsons for it, then people might like it now, but all they're going to do is they're going to complain about it more and more and more over time, to the point where there just gains more toxicity within the fandom. So you're going to be where people are going to leave because they just got bored of it, or because they didn't feel that they're not liking the quality anymore, and then you're going to be left with these people that are just masochistic and are staying there for some reason. So the fact that it ended the way that it did, and when it did, well, devastating, is to me the better long-term solution.
G5's right around the corner, man.
But who knows what that's going to be?
Yeah. It's gonna be.
And Pony Life doesn't look bad. I haven't seen a single episode of it yet, but all the little GIFs and the pictures and stuff, it actually looks good.
I watched every episode except for last week, and I will say it has its moments where it is genuinely entertaining. It's not the same show,
but that's why it's great.
It's not as good a show. Like, if it was all there was, I wouldn't be in the Pony fandom.
No, but it's a nice follow-up.
I feel like it's a decent breather between 4 and 5. I don't think I could sit and watch season after season of it. I think its stick essentially it's kind of already played out. Like, it's a lot of the same jokes over and over again. Like, Pinkie Pie keeps exploding, Fluttershy keeps.
Yeah, and I saw that, but it has a lot of gems in there. And it was the same thing with the actual series. Every now and then you get an episode that was like, that one has Applejack in it. But then you'd have other ones that...
Ooh, Applejack.
they would get those gems, so you can't win every time.
Yeah.
And to me, Pony Life at least is giving something different, but the same, and in a different format where it's taking the characters and taking them to extremes that the original couldn't do. And so I think it's cool.
I'd say Pony Life doesn't have any good episodes. It just has good moments in episodes. Like, a lot of the episodes are just nonsense playing
So
out.
let's
But they occasionally make a joke that gives you a chuckle.
so let's
I don't really know Saberspark too much one-on-one, so I don't know how he picked people for the thing that he did. But I'm not known for... I'm known for doing animation stuff. And like, face-wise, I know him, he knows me for conventions and stuff. But besides just doing some small interaction stuff, and some of that stuff, like... in the last couple of years, I was trying to back away from the I guess you could call it like the front line of stuff, to where I still like doing YouTube, and I wasn't going to slow down or change that in any way, but the promotion of myself at conventions I was going to slow down on. Originally, it was like community guest stuff was, I would do panels at first, but then the community guest thing and being accepted for that felt special, and it felt really cool. It felt really cool, but after a while, it just felt like I was adding a lot of obligation, and it felt like hand waving of look at me, and I didn't really like that. So I liked doing the panels, but I didn't want to be self-promoting anymore. So I was originally planning, it was about this summer, I started removing myself from community guest lists for even conventions I went to for outside of Charlie Cons last year, and then this year I was going to stop doing the Charlie Cons too, but now, because of the online stuff and because of the things getting more difficult from that side, if it helps promote the con more by having me on there, then I don't mind. But I don't like self-promotion. I don't like... I'm big against being a hypocrite, so I don't like when people are overly trying to sell themselves in obvious ways and are doing the hand-waving thing of look at me. And there are a couple of people in the fandom that I feel that are YouTubers that are that way, or that feel themselves overly self-important because because they're big in a small fandom, that they're bigger overall, and that's not true. They give an aura of being overly important, or trying to be important, and I don't like that. I like going to places and hanging out with my friends and just being who I am, not the person I am online. So that's why it's like I felt like by doing that stuff, I felt like that's the direction I was going. So that's why I don't like sometimes when for the community guest thing, one of the requirements that I normally always fail on is advertising for the convention. I don't like advertising the convention because then I'm using myself as a product, and I don't like that. It just is against, I guess, the moral way I see myself. I shouldn't need to do that. I shouldn't need to sell myself. I can sell myself by just making good stuff and enjoying what I do. So yeah, that was a really long rant. Sorry, but yeah, even making, because I have a Discord that I put. If you guys aren't part of it, you can be. And I put off doing that for like a year and a half or 2 years because it felt like I was making something as a self-promotion tool of come to my thing, me, and I didn't like that. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be making product that was focused on me and branded stuff, and that's just no. I ended up making the Discord largely because of the lack of conventions. I finally went and did it because it at least gave people that can't go to these conventions a potential outlet for being able to interact with people. And I know when I go to conventions that people will come up and talk, and they do enjoy being able to talk to somebody that's bigger in the community. And I think that's great, being able to make somebody's day for so little effort on my part. So I like going on the Discord and just popping in the public chat and getting to talk with random people. But I normally wouldn't have done that if I still had the conventions. So I'm opening up a little bit on that because of it. But yeah. Archie is one of the guys who promoted himself after gaining popularity. He exited. It's not just him. There was a lot of people that you go to these conventions and they're community guests at every one, and I feel like when I look at them and I watch them, I'll sometimes talk to some of them off to the side or even not, and it's just the person that they are up on stage and the person that they are to the community is not the real them. And I don't like not being me. So if I have to go up somewhere and put on a face for the purposes of being funnier or for acting like something that people want me to be, I don't want to be that person. If I'm just going to be me, and if people don't like that, then that's fine. Maybe I lose a chance at a much bigger channel because I'm not doing that. I don't give a shit. I'm me. If people don't like me, then get out of here. Plus, I think sometime, like on the Discord, we've had a couple people that we talked to, and I'll just be talking to with one guy or a couple guys for like a while, and when they're like, well, I didn't expect to have such a down-to-earth conversation, and I'm like, what'd you expect me to be? Like Saberspark and AC Race Best are two of those people that they definitely have a face or a persona that they put on when they go to these places, and that's not, I think, who they really are. Outside of that, they're very different people, I'm guessing. But that's all I know them as. Is probably all the community knows them as. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to have that face. How rude. You're rude.
Let's go launch the rocket.
I think I just need to turn her head down here. I'd like just do the 8-year-old comeback. That was actually one of my favorite. I was playing Fate Tactics, and on there is there was like two kids that were having an argument on something, and the one kid goes, "What are you, a chicken?" And the girl responds like, "I'm not a chicken, you're a turkey." And I died because that is such the kid response, and it's a reference to a meme. I agree about that, and it's really sad. The feel of joy of celebrating the French race is much more important than to be someone who aims to be a pop star. Well, and to me, I'm not bashing AC or Saber for their personality. Their personalities that they put on the conventions are very entertaining. People love them for it, and it's great for them. They get invited out to a lot of places, probably paid to go out there because they provide a large amount of entertainment, more than I would want to be involved in. But it's just, to me, it's not me if I were to do something like that. I don't like being somebody else. And to them, maybe that's the whole point of being an actor. And an actor is wanting to be somebody else, but it's being able to portray somebody else. So to other people, that's great, and for them, that is great. It's just not me. And for them, they're not, to me, overly promoting themselves. I really don't see them going around out there saying, subscribe to my YouTube and whatever. They just go out there and they are entertaining, and that is enough to get people to follow them. There are other people, though, that are much, much more about the hand waving. AC and Saber aren't about the hand waving. They just are legitimately entertaining, and people follow them for that. But they don't need to do the hand waving because they're doing it right. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not bashing them or some of the other people that are much better at it, or not better at it, but they go about it the right way. Also, I think Michael went to take a nap.
Let's go launch the... Go launch the... Launch the... Launch the... Launch the... Go launch the... Launch the... Let's go launch the... Go... Launch the rocket!
Probably gonna have her eyes closed for this part and then stay open for the next part.
Go launch the...
Probably instead, I'd probably just have her squint.
The rocket! The rocket!
Yeah, and also sorry about ranting stuff. I've just been, I've been to like, actually I don't know if you can see it from here. Oh no, you wouldn't be able to. No, I have like the side of my fridge just covered with badges. I can't find my magnets and I ran out of sleeves, but I still have like 8 I haven't put up there. I've been to like dozens of conventions, so I've just seen a lot of the same stuff. So when you have people that, I mean, when you go to a convention, there's a lot of people there that might be their first time. So, I just see trends and stuff from people because you just go to enough of them and you see that stuff. But there's just also been some people that you see them like overly selling and being in that persona, and then like you go and talk to them on the side, and they're just a completely different person. And not in a bad way. They might just be just a more chill, cooler person. But then, to me, the people I love interacting with are the people that, that just don't have a difference. That it's just no matter who they're interacting with or who they're talking with, the same person. Probably gonna have to have her. I'll do it in one motion. English with kids. When I first watched SFM Pony videos, I used to confuse your videos for X's. You have no idea how often that happened. Do you know, like, I've had it where at conventions, somebody would come up to me and be like, I really like that Applejack celery stalks video. That wasn't me. that was for X's. And you want to see somebody be embarrassed. Tell them that the video that they just attributed to you is not from you. Yeah, I kind of feel bad, but I also don't want to just tell people, yeah, that was me. You're out of your booze.
Yes, I'm drunk a little more.
I'm trying to think of. I've had a lot of, like, the one thing with the Brony fandom too is there are some people that are just socially, they just have a difficult time in interaction with people. And so I've had it where, I think it was like after Remembrance especially, I had a large amount of people after the panel, at the SFM panel at BronyCon 2015. It took me an hour to get through everybody because it was just such a large group. And there was a couple people that were there that were sitting just on the fringe of the group, holding their opened booklet on the autograph page with a pen. But they never stood forward, and because they're just socially, I'll say socially awkward, but not in a bad way. Just that they have difficulties with that, and that's okay. That's the Brony fandom is full of a lot of those type of people, and it's a sanctuary for them, and that's great. But
Come on, live.
I would go to. I would notice those people. You start noticing. I got better at noticing that, and I would go and then interact with them and just start talking. And that is all that you needed to do. Then usually they would open up. They just didn't want to initiate or feel like they're interrupting. And so, I wouldn't even say shy. There's just some people that have an anxiety or a phobia for that type of thing. And like, there's actually one or two of them that I've seen repeatedly that would have somebody with them that they had such a difficulty with social situations that they had somebody that would speak for them and would help push that person to be so. I mean, that has got to be a difficult job to do, and to do that and follow somebody with that. But that person was doing it beautifully. And I remember just one specifically, but there've been multiple like that. And so there was one of them was, I think the guy that did the Rainbow Dash Chandelier video.
Love that video.
If you haven't seen it, look it up because it's great. And he makes great content, and he came to one of the SFM panels and he wanted to say I did great work and everything. And then, but he had somebody with him that was, I think, translating too, because he didn't speak much English. But this guy was also very shy. And the guy had mentioned that he had actually made those videos. And I'm like, I should be shaking your hand because your content is absolutely amazing. And I don't want to attribute it to anything specifically. So it's just, but no, he was super. Once I got him to open up a little bit more, he was still very, very shy the whole time. But you make an impact. That person was able to fight through something that they were afraid of, and I was helping to push them out of their shell. So that's a fun thing with conventions too, is being able to do that. Being able to just talk with random people at a convention is one of my favorite things to do. Just walking up to some random group after having a couple drinks, especially, and then
it helps.
Especially when people recognize who I am, but where I will keep asking questions about them, and anytime they start asking questions to me, diverting it back to them. So keeping it from them looking at me like a YouTuber and it's just somebody super interested in their life. And the glow that you can get from people in that is super, super fun. I had a lot of fun with that at the last BronyCon, and then because of that at Ciderfest, because I did it at Nahum, and then at Ciderfest we started doing it again. Just random people we'd walk up to and just start talking, and it was fun. It was super, super fun. Just what the information you can learn about people that are there, and just to see what happens when you get them to open up about themselves. So it's, I don't know, I miss that about the conventions, because it was only Ciderfest was, I think, the last convention before, or the last official convention before everything shut down that I was at. And so I kind of sad that now that I like doing that, I can't do that for a while.
Yeah, the funny thing is, when I went to BronyCon, I knew who the kind of person I was before I went to BronyCon. I was super, super, super shy, and I didn't want. I kept to myself pretty much all the time outside work. I didn't have really friends, like, at all. But when I went to the BronyCon, I told myself, like, hard, that you're going to talk to people. It's going to be awful. You are going to mess up, and you are going to hate yourself. Every word that comes out of your mouth. Like, I'm somebody who doesn't even like to hear the sound of my own voice. I can't stand it.
You want to help me edit live streams?
Huh? No. If you start releasing the live streams and I'm in them, I'm going to feel weird.
I have no problem. Like, I can watch the whole live stream now with myself talking, and it doesn't bug me at all. Like, enough. It used to bug me, but you hear yourself enough, and it just.
I can't stand it. I did tell myself when I went to that first BronyCon that you're going to talk to people, you're going to hate it, but you're going to do it. And I did. And I made a lot of friends.
And did you hate it?
Yes, it was awful. Like, I liked making friends, but I was in agony with a smile on my face. It was forced. Everything at that first convention was forced hard. And even like the Winnie City later was bad. Hide the pain.
Is that what it is?
That was what it was. Yes. You can see it in the eyes. Hide the pain, Harold.
I actually just watched a TED Talk from him. Where he was talking about becoming a meme. And that he said, I had two choices. I could start asking everybody to take it down and be an asshole, or I could embrace it. And he decided to embrace it. And he goes, I'm a retired man. And he goes, and some of my favorite stuff is that I get invited to these like concerts with all these young kids and everything, and they all love him. Yes. So he goes, it opened up his world, his view of the world, and he loves being a meme now. So
hide the pain, Harold. That was me.
He is an engineer, and he actually became the vice chair of this big engineering group within the UK or whatever. He's actually like a very smart man, and he did all this because somebody just thought that his pictures were very funny for something, and then they wanted to do some stock pictures with him, and then that just
the sadness deep inside.
But no, he actually just seemed like a really, really cool dude. And yeah, I will be going to. I don't know. The conventions right now are difficult to plan out. I am planning to go to Cider Fest, but
this weekend.
Hmm?
I don't know if they're selling tickets or not yet.
No. I'll know when they do, but and I'm only going to do that because Charlie has no choice but to run it, and so I want to I want to be there to help support the con if I can. But
tickets are expensive.
Yeah, well, I was sponsored before. Huh? So I was sponsored before, so.
Oh, you get in free.
No, but I always sponsor anyway.
Yeah, but you don't want to do it this time.
No, I still would.
I thought you didn't want to take somebody's ticket away.
No, I wanted to make sure that if I did buy a sponsor ticket, that I wasn't taking it from them because I had the other badge. Oh. That by having both, I was going to be taking 2 slots. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that by buying it, I was not going to take it away, but they're doing body counts. And still that could cause an issue, but I'm going to make sure of it later. Yeah. But next year's conventions, who knows? I always plan to go to Charlie Cons, which is Winnie City in Chicago, and Cider Fest in Milwaukee. I used to go to BronyCon, but it's not existing anymore. And I've been to BabsCon a bit because I originally wanted... hello, Luxanda. I used to have this where I was going to start backing away from conventions, but then being that this year had like none, I feel like that's too much of a gap. And so if the conventions really open up again next year, I might take advantage of it. That's why even right now I'm just building up vacation time. I'm going to let it keep building.
Because you have no choice.
No, I could just take random days off, but I can store up to 3 times my max. Or I can store up to 3 times my yearly allowance. No. So if that's the case, then at the end of the year, if I have 2 weeks of vacation left, I'll just carry 2 weeks over, and then next year I'll have 5 weeks of vacation. So then I can potentially go to more. So, but we'll have to see. I'm not going to plan anything because things change so much.
I mean, I took 3 days off of work to stay at a hotel most of the day at one exit down from here. It was weird. Spend all day in a hotel room and then come back to your own bed.
MLP MSP.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't really stay at the hotel, but we went to a convention and then came home every night.
Yeah.
That was jarring, and it felt like you were missing so much. MLP MSP 1 and 2 at the Thunderbird, I really wish I would have stayed there because I couldn't drink that much. I had to drive home afterwards. And there was so much fun in those fire pit areas.
You guys talk about the fire pits, and I only was at MLP MSP 3, the last one. And I heard 4. Was the last one 4?
There's 1, 2, 3, and then F.
Okay, so I think I was at...
But but only 1 and 2 had the fire pits. 3 had it. The Thunderbird, where 1 and 2 were held.
Okay.
That location was torn down before 3.
So I did go to 3 and 4. I didn't go to the 1 and 1 because I remember Draft talking about the fire pits. The fire pits are great. I'm like, I can't wait. And then it didn't happen, and I was sad.
Yeah, and I put all I carried over all those pictures, but I have some of the fire pits, like, this is Adam, but this was taken at MLP MSP. He had the cosplay stat trophy for some reason.
Stole it from someone.
That was out by the fire pits. So this is actually one of the fire pits. This is us around the fire pits too. Mm-hmm. So they had a bar over here, this big stone wall, and we went out there at like 5 p.m. after all the panels were over and took the chairs, and we didn't move the entire rest of the night, and we left I think at 2 a.m. because the only way to get those chairs, because that whole out-yard courtyard would fill with people. If you wanted a chair by the fire, you needed to take it, and I at one point walked away, and a friend took it, but then I never went back to it. Oh, yeah, here we go.
There is nothing more relaxing than sitting around a fire and like
when the weather is cool and dry. Yeah.
I mean, somebody's gonna get the smoke blown in their face, but
I don't know why these aren't open.
what you sacrifice.
No, there we go. So these are the fire pits, and so these are actual hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So you could literally have it be that your room was 4 feet from the fire pits. It was great. And so I just had my feet up and I was chilling. I think that was my drink. It's definitely alcohol. Wait, where's it?
It went away.
Oh, they stole the dolphin. Oh, that was also outside.
Got the dolphin.
Makes you remember Ranger Bravo. He did the same thing about the cons, but with different reasons. No, it's like I have tons and tons of pictures from conventions. We actually spent like a good hour a couple weeks ago. If you go there's a second channel for on YouTube that's my live streams. We actually went through like a good hour or something of all the pictures from different conventions on one of those in different videos. So if you look back it was probably like 2 weeks or so, you could probably find that.
Let's go launch the rocket. It's in. Let's go launch the rocket. Let's go launch the.
So I think that her push-off needs her to be a little bit more forward. This can cause a jitter in the legs because I'm trying to overlap on FK animation multiple types of motion. But I'm gonna at least see if I can do it. And what I mean by FK is it's free kinematic instead of inverse kinematic, meaning that I'm just using locked bones and just animating things on top of each other, but it kind of wobble. Like, you can see it there a little bit, right here. But that is fine because it only matters if you can see it. So let's see. Not really. I feel like she doesn't actually bend down that much here. I'm gonna bend this one more. This is, I don't know the original timing, so I gotta be. That feels better. So when she gets to her top of her bit there, I don't want her to just like hit the top and then stop. So I want her to settle a little bit, which the best way to do that is to grab some other back part and have her just settle back into that position. But when she does that, she's going to settle her head. I want to have her head stay where it was. Where is your head? Grab it here. Just going to turn a little bit.
It's the rocket.
It's kind of a weird sound. Would she look better with her head like that? Yeah, I think I feel better with her head being in there. That means I also have to have her head turned a bit more that way.
No. Why must you? You just get these like ticks. Like this horse has gone too long without pain. I must fix this.
It's more of I sometimes can catch myself before I do something wrong, but then I realize that it's more fun to do it wrong, so then I just keep going with it.
He likes to snap horses' necks.
Because here I'm grabbing two bones, but since I'm grabbing on this smaller, if I grabbed it up here, I have a lot more control. But I'm trying to grab it here to roll it under, because it's easier than grabbing it there. But because of that, it's much tighter motion, so I can very easily just snap it too far. So my brain goes, don't grab it too far, or do.
So happy. You make horses happy.
So this one, I'm going to have her whole body dip a little bit. Okay, this one, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. I'm going to have to do it like this.
Perfect. It's a good thing horses are made of Play-Doh.
So it's usually like if you're going to have them go backwards, they're going to probably dip their front but put their ass up because they got to compress their center of mass. Mm-hmm. Well, if they go forward, their butt's going to go down and their front's going to go up so that they can stretch further forward. So it's about width. They're going backwards, this side goes up, and if they're going this way, this side goes up. So that's kind of the idea for it. But that means also that these legs are going to stretch a little bit. And because I'm doing things FK like this, it does make things more difficult for these back legs. But the cool thing is, she's wearing clothing. So, like, I actually don't even have to bend these legs if I don't want to. I can just, like, move them physically up and down and simulate it because you can't see them. I actually did that earlier. I don't know if you noticed. I cheated it a little bit.
Let's go launch the rocket.
Yeah, like there. I just moved him down.
She does appear to be.
Oh, no,
getting
that's
taller.
me. Hmm?
She did appear to be getting a little taller there.
What are you talking about? She's fine. She does have a little bit of the crazy.
That she does.
And actually, you can see her
Going with
eyes.
her teeth. Yeah, I was like, her eyes are poking through the bottom. Their eyes are too big. I remember seeing those one, like lemurs or monkeys or whatever that had the really big eyes that were like proportional to this. But I come to find out that they don't rotate in their sockets, they're fixed. Like they cannot move their eyes.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
It's like a kind of monkey or lemur or something, because you were saying how ridiculous the horse's eyes are, how they rotate in their heads. And I mentioned that there's a monkey that has like eyes that are proportioned like that in comparison to their skull. But I had come to find out that their eyes don't rotate. They can't actually rotate them in their sockets. They're fixed in place. So the only way they can look around is by turning their heads.
Because they don't have the muscle structure or anything.
Yeah,
that
like
make it
their
work.
eyes are shaped more ovalish. So they're pretty much just fixed.
I mean, you can have ponies do that too.
That'd be very freaky.
They could be
Very uncanny. Always just looking straight forward. How disorienting would that get? Like, you couldn't move your head at all
they're
if your
probably
eyes were fixed.
built for it, then it'd be fine.
Oh,
But it should be
I
like where? What?
Yes.
Who's looking at me?
Oof, oof. No. For Twilight. She needs better eyes that don't go into her mouth.
So she goes back, but then when she's going forward here, we actually want to take this and dip it even a little bit more. So that it's not, it's the robo motion to me is the one that goes from keyframe to keyframe without anything changing. So A to B to C to D. So this is what adding just a little bit of extra motion in the middle of the motion so that it doesn't feel like a robot. So while her backside was starting to push her upwards again, her front is going to still have her going downwards and just a little bit. Not by much. It's enough just to break up the timing. That does cause multiple overlays of the motion, but I don't care too much because, again, she's not going to be... or the bottom of her hoofs aren't really that visible. But once it starts moving up, it will be. So you need to make sure at least that the end product of it looks fine. So here, her head actually should probably be staying up a little bit longer, looking at the camera. But her eyes get lost. You're supposed to be locked to the camera. Oh. Oh, it's because I did that. You're a little bit more bouncy here. So we're just gonna grab her head. We're gonna shove it downwards. That works.
It's in! Let's go launch the rocket! Launch the rocket!
Okay, so when her eyes go down here, I'm gonna take them.
Doesn't animating her without her clothes make it harder? Like when you put the clothes back on?
Actually, I only turned them off there because I needed to see the legs, and they were being blocked by the clothing. I can turn them back on now.
Put some clothes on that horse.
The rocket.
Is it looter with or without the clothes? I don't know. Horses are weird. You're right not to answer that question. I said you're right not to answer that question.
Not sure if you saw me ask this in the Discord server. Oh, I might have missed. Unless you just said it a little bit ago. I don't usually watch the Discord during one of these streams. I just keep it on here. But I have trouble with making ponies stop walking. Do you animate everything on its own, like legs, or do you have an easy and efficient way to do this? He always complains. Stopping a walk, there's kind of like two different ways to do it. If you're running from a cycle, obviously you could just like custom animate the whole walk to stop. That's a lot of work. It's definitely going to get a good product in the end, but it's a lot of work. The one of them is just blend it with a stop, like a standing pose when you're done, or when they're done walking. But yes and no, that's going to have some issues as well. What I end up doing normally is I'll have them walk to about the position, and then I'll have a end position that I've kind of set up. That's not usually the stock standing position. I usually have some of the legs just positioned a little bit left and right and forward and backwards to kind of match what you would normally stop with on a walk cycle. It would take me longer than the time I have to go over it, but what I normally do is just have them go, and then like just the easiest way to do it, have them walking forward, and then just have them literally stop at some point that you want them to stop at. Like have the animation stop at that point. Then kind of fade that animation so that they kind of slow down to a point with that. And then any leg that is not on the ground, pick a spot that it should be on the ground, and then just have its last motion lead into that landing position. If you try to have the ponies go from a walk cycle to the static like T-pose positioning, you're going to have a lot of problems because the legs are all going to want to like slide all four of them to a new position. But that's not how like you and I would work. I mean, we're working with two legs, but if you are walking and you stop, you're not going to suddenly like go and reposition all your legs to be in a perfectly positioned thing. You're probably going to have your legs stop into some position that's more comfortable with that. So I do the same thing with them. One of the legs might be a little further backwards, one might be a little further forward, but it works. I'm trying to think if I have a video that shows this.
You don't really have the ponies walk too much.
Oh, I do, but or I won't show the feet, because if they're not showing the feet on the ground, I can cheat the hell out of it.
That one with Derpy. And I'm not just saying that because Derpy's in it. You know, it's the obvious one.
Because she walks up to the pedestal here. So here, like here, you could have stopped it right there and just had that one leg backwards more. But then at this point, obviously I lifted this leg more, that leg would be up in the air. So I would, during her normal hoof lift, I basically would just keep that leg moving and put it down in whatever position works. So it might not be where it would normally do it walking, because you're no longer moving forward, but just rest it down straight downwards. So it's essentially you're freezing them where they are, and any legs that are on the ground stay on the ground. Any that aren't on the ground, you just have it finish its motion to go straight down to where it is in the air. It's rough, and it's not going to look perfect, but it's also very quick and easy. And I prefer quick and easy over perfection, because perfection takes a lot longer to do, and I don't want to spend that much longer working on a project when I can cut corners and stuff.
What's the rocket?
her eye needs to do this faster. Watch me on the PS4. That's exciting. I'm an exclusive.
You're on console now? Wow.
Yep. Argo on console. High def.
Sounds. I only have him here in 1080, so it's kind of depressing. Get the 4K going. Who didn't know that? Reality, it stops at 30 frames, 1080. Can't go higher than that. Everything else is a lie.
Livestreams of yours. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I learn the best from example stuff because if somebody, I can tell you how to do anything, but it's not going to learn it as well of just trying to find your own way to do it. And to me, one of the best ways is just to watch and absorb, like be like a little digital sponge. So, but yeah, whatever. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, it's really difficult to show that because it would take a while to set up, and I usually end at 9 here. But the very, very best way to go about stopping the moving is find a camera angle that just doesn't show it. As long as you are in, because if you're doing a mid shot, you're good. Better close up. So this would be your full shot, and this is where you're like a leg that skids or slides is going to be much more noticeable. But if you do like a mid shot, so you're talking like here, even if the leg slides, as long as you're getting pretty close, it doesn't matter. You can't see the ground. Who cares? So there, and don't think that you'd be like, well, that's just that's being lazy or that's cheating instead of using a good camera shot. No, do you know how many times in cinema they do that, where they use sneaky camera angles to just hide things? Games do it all the time. Say that an NPC wants to give an object to another person. Animating hands is difficult, so instead they just do over-the-shoulder shots so that they don't have to show the person exchanging the objects. They're not doing it because it's cinematic. They're doing it because it's too expensive. So, and then they don't have to do a model or something. So in cinema and in gaming and everything, they're cutting corners all the time. So cut as many corners as you can too.
I'm trying to remember a game where I remember like the previous version of the game, they actually had the character unsheathe the sword from their side, and then later they went cheaper and just had the sword start appearing in their hand. I'm drawing a blank on what game that was. But yeah, I know what you mean when you say cutting corners.
Yeah, it's just certain things are just expensive. I don't blame the game developers for wanting to cut some corners and stuff like that.
Just felt so awkward. Yeah, I'm guessing Jay Haller's probably streaming right now too, which is a big bummer for me.
Yeah, well, it's Friday evening. The reason I do it on Friday evenings is because can normally run longer than otherwise. Normally, like, it's a Tuesday night. I don't want to like go to work and then stream and then like have 1 or 2 hours to myself. I like to have a little more time, so my Tuesday streams are shorter. Used to do 4 hours on Tuesdays, because I'd get home at like, I start the stream at 6. I get home at like 5:45. It's earlier now, but get up for like 5:45. Have 15 minutes to prep and stream, and then I'd stream for 4 hours, and then I'd like, go to bed It was tough.
Jay used to occasionally do 24-hour live streams.
Yeah, but on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
But not talking weekends.
What, you'd be willing to do a 24-hour live stream on a weekend?
When else would you do it?
Well, would you be willing to do something like
No.
that? Well, yeah, because it's crazy.
No, it's just stupid. Why would you? The whole reason you do it is that it just sounds. It makes people go, "I want to see you get tired." So they're there for your misery.
I don't want to see you get tired because I feel like the
I would be angry.
yes, you would be incredibly irritable, and getting near you would be a mistake.
Well, normally too, you're playing like the same game for a lot of that, and there's not many games I can think of that I'd want to play for an entire day straight. And there are definitely some RPGs or something that once I really get into it, I definitely could. But they're few and far between.
I wonder if anybody's ever done like a playthrough of like Final Fantasy VII from beginning to end in a single go. That would be impressive.
Speedrunners.
Well, not even just speedrunning, like just a solid 50-hour playthrough of Final Fantasy VII.
Well, speedrunners could probably beat it in like 2 hours.
Oh, I'm not talking about speedrunners. I'm talking about just...
Are you saying they're not real people?
No, they're not. Nobody can finish Mario Brothers in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they can.
It's madness.
Because they use they use portals to other dimensions. Remember?
Yes. I love the videos explaining that. It's so bizarre.
It was so like over the top and ridiculous, but that's what they do.
Yeah. But the game works like that. It's just weird. Infinite dimensions within the world. I think it's amazing that somebody found and broke down that game and found that deep in the code Luigi still existed, and they pieced it together and made it work. I thought it was like a mod or something at first, and then they were like, nope, he's in there. It's just hidden away.
If you go digging into code, you can find some really strange things in any game. Like there's always things that exist in the background of leftover stuff of things they never finished.
Like essentially, there was supposed to be a multiplayer where people could switch between Mario and Luigi in Super Mario 64, and then it got axed, but Luigi's model was still buried in the source code.
I just realized Livestream all LOR and SFM movies. Oh, you know. I'm pretty sure too if I live streamed some of those that I'd get in a little bit of trouble.
Now why you'd want to watch all the Star Wars movies? There's only 3 that are really any good.
I know, but I'm pretty sure I would get in trouble.
Oh man.
Let's go launch the rocket!
I don't know what I think the copyright cutoff is roughly like 50 years. So we gotta find a movie from 50 years ago and you can watch that. How does that sound?
You'd have to check their terms and conditions whether or not, or I can actually just watch this video, because Twitch isn't just a streaming platform; it's a game streaming platform. So you can do just chatting and some other creative platform stuff like SFM and stuff. But I would check on that beforehand.
I think YouTube's actually more
YouTube's
on that.
But YouTube has the automated filters, so it's going to just remove, if it detects any type of copyrighted music or anything copyrighted, it will just cut the stream, which is why I don't use YouTube. But I've wanted to do a Q&A stream again.
Do it on Discord.
I want to do Q&A on YouTube again, but Twitch is easy to stream to. I basically have the thing set up, I hit the button and I'm done. YouTube it has a neater system. Like, it's cool, but it's also very confusing because you can go live I can hit go live on here and it will go live on YouTube but not like live. It's on like a pre thing, and then I can say when I'm ready to go live. So it's nice because you can kind of prep and make sure that everything's working before going live. But it's also confusing because sometimes I could hit the button and it could actually go live. It's just the YouTube system's confusing. That's why I don't use it as much. And because I don't like I mentioned before, I don't like putting spoiler type content on YouTube. And if I started working on this stuff on YouTube, then what am I showing people when I'm done? So that's why I just stay on a separate platform. So if I do a Q&A, it's usually like not touching anything of my any current work in progress or videos that I potentially am going to finish. You filed Disney lawsuits. No, Disney wouldn't sue. Twitch would just cut it. Twitch would ban me. So,
Disney don't care unless there's money involved, and he ain't got that much money.
Disney would care if I was sitting there constantly streaming it and Twitch knew about it and did nothing. Then Disney might get involved. But they don't care because Twitch is just going to get rid of it. They don't want to deal with it.
I don't think Disney would care unless you made a crap ton of money off doing it, and then they would want that money.
No, they would not. Because again, they have to defend their copyright stuff. So if they have it, they have to defend it. But if they don't know it exists or it's a problem, then they're not going to. But if I do it and then Twitch finds out and they do something about it, Disney would just say, Twitch, take this down, and they would take it down.
Yeah, I'm just saying, a lawsuit wouldn't occur unless there was a lot of money that changed hands beforehand.
Or they want to do an example, because that was the whole thing with the music download industry before. They want to provide an example and scare people, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work at all.
I don't like how her eyes look when she turns here. I think I'm going to have her eyes closed here. Let's try not to do that. Because it just makes things like I'm constantly having her eyes shut. So from this angle, your mouth doesn't really look open, it looks wide. So because of the angle for it, I'm actually going to modify this. So that, because I don't care about what it looks like from behind here. So even though that looks really bad from this angle,
no,
it looks fine from this angle.
Her jaw unhinged. She's ready for the Hayburger insertion.
There was a interesting thing I remember reading about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, where they had some of the shots where they were profile shots, the characters from the side, and in reality, you would be able to see the inside of the mouth when they were talking. But from a cartoon perspective, they usually would want it open. So a lot of the characters' faces, when they had these profile shots, they would actually take the face and like stretch it backwards so that there would be a clear shot through, which would be more like a cartoon character, to go with that style. And so it wasn't actually real. Like, it was just their whole faces were deformed to fit what we perceive should be the better. And it's the same thing here, of it may not be reality to do it that way, but reality lies.
Don't stretch the horse's face. It's a cute face. Except when her eyeballs shut in her mouth.
Her leg twitches a little bit right here.
She's got eyeball mouth. It's a horrible horse condition. I am tired this evening.
Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Oh, made progress on this.
Let's go
Yay.
launch the rocket. Launch the rocket.
I might need to have... I'll do that right now. Her eyes here. I'm going to move them over further. So right now it looks... She's kind of acting like she is kind of looking towards the camera, but she's not. So I want to move it further.
It's in.
Yeah, I need to move it a little bit, but I can't move it too much. I'm going the wrong... Yeah, that was the wrong way. So let's move it a little bit, because I don't want, when her eyes change from here
Let's go.
and to the camera, I want to make sure that it's obvious that she's looking at you now.
In.
What is that shadow on her face? It's her glasses? That's weird. I know I'm in an ultra zoom, but
Let's go launch the rocket.
it's leaving some interesting shadows. I can kind of fix that. Because I'm guessing that's SSAO that's causing that.
Let's go launch the rocket.
Okay, we'll do that. Oh, that need to do that for everything. Okay, and then actually, I bet you the radius is all I really need to do. This will help spread it out a little bit. Okay, yeah, now it's not so sharp of a thing on her eyes. Then I can change the look of the shadow, so I want to make sure I don't do that in all the others. I feel like she's not really looking at the camera. Whatever, it's past my time. So,
Here, just keep going.
no, it's
Just no. You stopping yourself. Slapping yourself in the hand.
yeah, bad me. So that's it for today. I will be back. Oh, thanks for the follow as I'm leaving. Calculated.
There wasn't a single derby today.
Calculated. It's a fun one to say. You did it on purpose. So yeah, I will be back on. It's Friday. Yeah, I'll be back on next Tuesday. To do more. That. Yay!
I got derps. Thank you, Blurs.
And derps. Okay.
I didn't have time to try to pull up the phone myself to do it, but I thought about it.
Oh, well, thank you for stirring some. Yes, everybody follow just as I'm leaving.
This is their favorite part of the stream, when you leave.
Thank you for leaving.
Yes. Get out of here.
So yes,
Leave the horses.
have a good weekend. Sure.
I'm waiting.
For what?
You know what I need. Meow. Kitty. Yay, kitty. Look at that kitty. He's like,
Someday
no.
I'm gonna change that and I'm gonna get rid of it and then everybody's
No,
gonna be
but-
sad. And I'm gonna everybody's gonna unfollow.
Yeah, they should. They should immediately unfollow if you get rid of kitty.
I'm gonna unfollow you.
Don't follow me, it's weird. Don't hug me, I'm scared.
Go away.
Right.
Good night, everybody.